Hello everyone, welcome. I am RxOliver, these are my friends, and we're playing the One Ring. This is the Looming Threat Session 5. I'm here with the whole crew tonight. I've got Max, David, Therator, the Marshal, and the amazing Games Master, Lore Master, Brian. Take it away, Brian.
Okay. The people of Cran were gracious and friendly after our company freed them from the clutches of the coward Giraffe and her orc scum. Thankfully, travel back to their village was uneventful, and the children still hiding in the ruins were visibly relieved to no longer be alone. These simple folk once again had a chance, and if some were to keep an eye on them in future, more to their benefit. It is the 4th of Chithing in the 2965th year of the Third Age. And the morning chill is yet to touch you as you wake with bellies still warm of the brew provided by Strider at last night's meal. The embers of your fire spit as you throw another log on the fire and stoke it for breakfast of travel fare. Ahead, across the plains west of Fornasirain, on the banks of Nenuiel, the misty Lake Evendim, Annuminas and the camp of Gilrain the Fair awaits. For some, a homecoming. For others, a welcome rest. And for yet others, perhaps a moment of wonder amid the ruins of a lost realm. So we'll pick up, I think, since we are still at camp, with a journal entry from Egil.
Yes, well, with the first light of the day, I'm just updating my diary. Well, here's the entry I put in. Dear diary, what a series of days it has been. The last battle started with me supporting a wounded Orlon on a ledge above the Orc's cavern as Derek pressed in a charge against the enemy. But then the Wolf of Angmar, Giraffe, appeared. A dread foe indeed. Apologising to Orlon for leaving him, I slid down the wall and rushed to support them, exhorting them to slay the puppy, and pointing out that its master had already been defeated. It seemed to inspire them, and certainly upset the wolf bitch, which caused her to underestimate us. The orcs and goblins were decimated, and my mate Derek proved his skill by badly injuring the creature, who promptly ran with her tail between its legs, cursing as she fled, the few other foes fleeing with her. My comrades helped rescue the citizens of Rudor from their captivity, and I marshalled them for a return to their village. Finding some of their supplies helped prepare them for the journey, and we found an elven great spear buried in the skeleton of another wolf, possibly Giraffe's mate. Orlon took it to use as a crutch while he healed, and declared that he would learn its use, since it was obviously effective against evil's creatures. As we travelled, I tried to overcome the villagers' obvious distrust of elves and rangers. How well I did is uncertain, but I hope to have gained possible allies for Dale. Having left them to rebuild their village, we continued, debating where to go next. I pushed for us to travel to Annuminas to report the success of our rescue mission to the Lady Gilrain, who started us on our way. The Rangers also needed warning of the wolf's escape, and I hope to gain further allies for Dale by speaking with them. Our trip there has been mostly uneventful so far, although the saying that you never know when you'll meet a ranger proved true. One called Strider graced our campfire for one night. And there ends that journal entry.
All right.
David.
So,
Really good.
we were in the middle of essentially a journey phase, so we shall continue with that. I will start off this session in this journey phase talking to you guys, but also to the viewers. I have been doing journeys a little bit wrong. I've been a little too easy on you.
Oh.
So
Easy?
Oh,
Really?
I
had an easy time.
One of the
Well, I
things
did
on
say
the
our journey has been uneventful so
So far.
One of the things on the journey event table is fatigue points gained, and I was under the impression that if you succeed at your event, you don't actually gain those fatigue points. I was incorrect. You always gain fatigue points. It's just that the success or a failure at the event can cause other things to occur.
Okay.
So, to that end, if you open your company sheet and look at, we're now on the third journey there, Spring, Cran, to Annuminas. You'll note if you want to open that up, unfortunately I'm still the only one that can edit it, but you'll note that all of you currently have 2 fatigue, which you gained for the first event that we had. Although it was a positive event, which helped you regain some hope, you still take fatigue for travel, right? So we'll talk about what to do about that fatigue when you get to Annuminas, right? Because there is a process for that as well. So, along those ends, let's go ahead and go to our full
Whereabouts
map
is
of...
fatigue marked, by the way?
It's,
by load.
it's also
So don't actually add it to your sheet yet.
on the company sheet. If you look at the company section.
Tally it up on the company sheet. So the
I
company
see.
sheet on and the company sheet, we tally it there. After a journey is complete, you'll reduce it by the vigor of your mount, and also potentially by a travel roll, which everyone makes individually.
Okay.
And then whatever's left, you then apply and have to recover from, which if you're, adventuring, it can have its own problems, because I'll remind you that whether or not you are weary normally is if your endurance is lower than your load, but your fatigue adds to your load. So the more fatigue you have, the more likely it is you'll become weary.
Is it on a 1-for-1 basis?
So every point of fatigue counts as 1 point of load until you recover from it.
So have an amount. It's basically just a bonus on it every time. I get -2 off it every time because I've got a mount.
Correct. Not every event, just
Journeys.
The whole journey,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that's why journey events are separated out the way that they are, because obviously if you roll a really bad journey event, you can get up to 3 points of fatigue. If you roll a really good one, you might get no fatigue, right? So, and then there's the event itself, which is separate. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue on, shall we?
Yes, indeed.
So, you all can see yourselves on the map, I assume, and you've plotted the course. It is the morning of the 4th, so now we just need a travel roll from, I believe, that is Derek, who is the leader.
Yep. And do I where do I just from my normal sheet, or can I roll that from the company sheet?
You can roll it from the company sheet if you want to, or your normal sheet.
So, I just go up to the available member section. No, it's this one here, members. Oh, that just brings up my sheet. So what we're doing, travel.
No, scroll down until you see guide, hunters, scouts. There's a little die icon if you mouse over your character under guide.
I think I'm on the roll. Oh yeah, there it is. Alright, yeah, so in fact, there's a button you can just press.
Yeah.
And it brings up travel roll. Right, sorry.
Correct.
Okay, I'm not adding anything to this, am I?
Not unless you have anything that would help. I think you do, right? Your backpack?
Yeah, does that help with travel rolls?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's designed for.
Okay, so add a bonus dice, do I?
That gives you a bonus die, yep.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else. Let me just check my character sheet.
I don't think you do either right now.
Yeah, you would have had a compass, but you traded it for the bagpipes.
That's right.
Because you can only use one item per roll, essentially.
It's still a success.
Okay.
Right?
Still a success.
Yep,
Yeah, he's
Just.
favored, so the eye doesn't count.
Just. Bang on.
So
Nice.
with a success in spring, you are able to travel 3 hexes before an event. So
Nice.
I will move you, since you guys can't see the hexes. 2, 3.
Hey, that's still pretty good distance.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
good distance.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we get an event. You are, here. And we will roll that. Let's see what happens.
19.
Oh.
The hunter. There's 2
Uh-oh.
hunters.
Oh.
Mishap in a dark land to the hunter.
There's 2 hunters.
Aye.
Hunters. We have
So
two
the
hunters.
last one would have affected the first hunter. This one will affect the second hunter. Who's second on the chart?
That's me.
Arathil.
Arathil. Okay. So Arathil, I need you to make me. Well, you're a hunter, so you'll make a hunting roll.
Alrighty. And roll. Oh.
Oh.
Hey,
Still-
still,
yeah,
It's
I
still
know.
good enough. It's still good. Still
Oh,
good.
okay.
So that's a
okay,
success.
Okay.
So you are successful. It's not a great success, but it is successful. So that's good. As I have discovered, you still gain fatigue anyway. So because it's a mishap, you're all up to 4 fatigue.
Mm.
I really wish you guys
Okay.
could alter this chart. I don't know why I'm the only one who can. But it's fine. It doesn't take that long. And we have a mishap, so go to. Oh, I need to.
So the
put
mishap
a
still happens
link to
even
that.
if he succeeds, right? Or is it he just needs a
Well,
higher
yeah. I
success?
mean, I gotta tell you what happened, right? Like,
Well, I was just
he's-
curious. I was just curious.
He's successful with it, but I gotta tell you what happened. All right, so
Basically, if he
Let's-
gets a success, it means that something happened, but it didn't cause a problem. If it failed, the thing that happened is a problem.
Okay. I just wanted
do
to make sure.
do me a favor,
Hmm.
and well, since it's you, we'll just have you do it, Marshall. Roll a d6 for me.
Roll a d6 already. There.
Oh, do you guys have the ability? Yeah, okay, you do. Good.
We don't have a
One.
dice tree, but I think we can still slash R1d6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. 1. Okay, so as you are traveling over the course of the next 3 days, which I will advance the clock as well.
Always leave the clock on screen in this
You-
game.
What's that?
I always leave the clock on screen in this game.
Oh yeah.
I don't always, but in this one I do.
So as you're traveling, you realize, and perhaps not surprisingly considering the location, right? Because you are traveling through the plains west at this point of Fornosti Rain,
Mhm.
the ruins of Fornost, which are known to be haunted, perhaps. But wildlife is sparse, and hunting becomes difficult. Thankfully, with your eminent skill and ability as a ranger, you are able to bring down enough to continue to feed you and your party as you travel through these, not barren, because it's not like it's a blasted wasteland, but for some reason just wildlife is missing.
Hmm.
Okay.
You see some indications here and there, but it's almost as if they are just avoiding the general area, or have fled.
Question about that.
Perhaps.
Is there no birds
Yeah.
flying above? Does that extend to the sky above it?
Give me a awareness test, since you asked.
By the way, when I press C, it brings up the company sheet and not my character sheet these days. But you can open your character sheet from there. What did you say, awareness?
Does it? Yes.
Okay. No, 9.
I mean, so when you look up and when you think about it and you look up, maybe Arathil mentions at camp or something that there's the wildlife is spare and he hasn't seen many signs. You happen to look up, and at the moment, no, there's no birds above. but also it's not like there's always constantly flocks flying above, so you can't say with any certainty.
Okay, fair.
It's a good thought, though. Yeah, so that is essentially what happens there. I will ask...
I've got a sore neck now. I don't like looking up, because I refuse to look up to an elf or a human. I just look them in the nipple.
You just get a mirror and reflect it up. You just get a mirror to sit there and look up now.
Nah,
That's funny.
just talk to your nipples.
Hey, eyes up here. Eyes up here.
Here's the stone for you, sir, so you can get up.
All right,
He's
so
afraid you'll fall up into the sky.
who's my lookout?
That's me. All alone.
Give me... I would also like you to give me an awareness test.
Ooh, okie dokie. Roll.
Well, that's
Ooh,
good,
that's
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Started
good.
off
Nice.
with-
Oh.
You had the 6 with the TTs.
Oh,
Extraordinary.
look at that, dude.
Extraordinary success. Okay. So, as you are traveling through this hex, in particular, this area where your token currently is on the map, it becomes very apparent to you that this was, at one point you're traveling through what was very apparently a site of a battle.
Oh.
Which is not surprising. There were many battles that took place in the north, particularly against the Witch King of Angmar, who essentially threw down Fornost and destroyed the remains of the Arthedain kingdoms. And as you are traveling, you see signs that there appears to be someone, because of your extraordinary success. At first it doesn't seem to make sense, but then you begin to see indications that someone seems to be crisscrossing the area, almost as if they were searching for something. Obviously these areas that you find yourself in, I mean, are massive, so you don't really see a person. You're not quite that lucky. But you do see clear indications that someone appears to be searching this area for something.
Yeah. Like
Now,
maybe. Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm stopping for a second and look down and I see those tracks that goes there and there. And they are fresh, right? Or are they like recent or this week or month, or do I know?
You would say probably at least within a month.
Within a month, yeah.
But
Yeah,
varied,
so
right? Because again, they're crossing and recrossing areas and treads. If you would like me to, I can mark this area for you on the map.
Yeah, please do so.
Or you all
please.
can just continue. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, and, yeah. So I stop for a second and I look to Arthur and I say, "Very strange. I've been seeing these footsteps the past half hour. It's like someone's been looking throughout the area."
That's
Did we
strange.
check that out?
Do you say that in Elvish or not?
I will say I will say the
Yeah.
tongues of men. I will say the tongues of men.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
In which case, I'll ask, are they
Westron, if
battlefields?
you're wondering, Westron would be the
Thank
language.
you. I'm always forgetting the tongue.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the common that we talk? Is Westron? I suppose it's
It
not.
is Westron.
It's
yeah.
not. It's not a common, is it? Because it's a regional language. They'll speak other humans.
Yeah.
Will speak other languages in different
Correct.
areas. Yeah. So it's not. There is no common in Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, and
But
to remind
the-
myself.
Westron is about as close as you can get to a common.
Common. Common is a strange concept. It doesn't actually make much sense.
It is.
to be honest.
It's since I'm working on it in the background, as you well know, I think it's funny that Darksun, for example, uses a trade tongue that everyone just speaks like a trade pidgin of all the other different languages, and that's the common.
Okay.
Which makes more sense. That actually makes more sense than a real common.
Yeah, I rather
If you
have
look-
I rather
Look
be
at you, look
straight
at
tongue than
look
common.
at look at humans in real life. You'll have one country where they speak 400 languages, and that's just
Yep.
one country. It's not realistic
Right.
that there's a common
Yeah.
worldwide.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very unrealistic.
Well, it's fantasy, you know.
It's fantasy. It doesn't have to be realistic.
Right. So,
So the question is, are they just searching this battlefield, or is it wider than that? In other words, if it was this battlefield, they could be looking for a weapon or somebody's bones or something. Which, considering how old this was, that would be quite some time ago.
It is
we think it
constantly
was?
either.
But if it's wider than just this battlefield, they could be looking at something else.
So
Hmm.
here we come to an impasse, and I'm just going to tell you what the possibilities you have are.
Okay.
Generally, when you're on a journey, the goal is to complete the journey, right?
Hmm.
If, however, you find yourself in a situation, which may happen, like now, where you want to stop and you want to investigate more and you want to figure out what's going on, that's a decision you can make. That means journey over, deal with fatigue, and then start adventuring in this location. Or you can say, we're going to go on to Annuminas, we're going to report in, we're going to rest, and then maybe we can come back and look. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at the rest of the group.
I'm a curious fella. I would love to have a look just now, but that's just one boat. Also, do you know how we know it's
Well,
do you know how we know it's fantasy? Because I've got more than 3 friends and I get regular sleep.
He's sleeping on the hog on like this.
Well, I think we should continue. I mean, we need to tell the Rangers about the wolf's escape and speak to Lady Gilraine. We can ask if they know if somebody knows if they know if somebody's searching this area.
Yeah.
I can make a mark on my map.
Report and then go.
Make a mark on your map.
Yeah, I can make I make a mark on my map if we want to come back to this later.
I mean, Arathil, do the Rangers leave signs to each other if they're doing this sort of thing? Could you tell whether it was? Could you tell whether it was one of your clan that is doing this?
I haven't seen any sign of their passage, have I?
No, but I will tell you with Therator's extraordinary success. Pardon me.
No worries.
With Therator's extraordinary success, he is fairly certain it is not Dunedain. Therator is fairly certain it's an elf. And the reason why you're fairly certain it's an elf is because there are times you can perceive the patterns, but as you well know, elves oftentimes will just walk across the top of wet mud and blades of grass and not leave passage, right? So you were able to see it. So this is no Dunedain, this is no dwarf, this is no man, this is an elf that is searching these areas.
So probably it's not.
Sorry, I should have said.
Probably it's not grass is being just pushed down by the feet of an elf, maybe some grasses.
Yeah, so, or maybe they disturb something when they stop to take a closer look. But
no, it's not the sign of the Dunedain, Arafil Nagel. This seems to be of elven tracks. But if it isn't,
I look at Orlon. It's I mean, this might be a good. It's like it's not normal that one of our cousins would be out here by themselves very often, is it?
It is rare for at least my kin from Rivendell. Especially your kin will not be here across the mountains, I imagine.
So, fair question. If you want to zoom out a little bit, there are elven places in this part of Middle-earth. There's the Grey Havens, of course, over here to the west of where you are.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm not pinging. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There's my ping. There is Linden over here, which is still an elven colony.
That's his Forlond.
Of course. Well, but it's also known as Linden.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the Grey Havens was known as Linden. That's an alternative name, or am I mistaken? I thought that was
no, that is my mistake. Linden and the Grey Havens are close to each other. Forlond is another one. You're correct.
Okay.
And then there is, of course, Rivendell, and then
if you zoom in actually on the Grey Havens, you can see on the other side of the Grey Havens, on the other side of the water, actually, this is Mythlond.
And there's Mythlond, yeah. So, elves do exist here. Now, whether or not they would be moving around up here, I mean, these are ruined lands.
Yeah.
It would make sense to see one searching for something. What they're searching for, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But...
Yeah, because it will be more common for elves that travel to the west to go across south of Shire, if I'm correct. Like go through the Shire, don't they? Most of
potentially, you would see, especially elves that are going to the west, like specifically, they would probably come through the old forest, but then I don't think you would normally see a lot of elves just traversing through the roads of the Shire.
No.
Disturbing
like
townships.
They
would skirt it, but yeah.
They come that way though, eh? Cut that area.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same to see at least one of my kin up here searching for something when, at least as me as a captain of Rivendell doesn't know of any importance of elven.
Maybe we can ask the rangers if they know of any. Because I know there is some traffic between, Rivendell and the rangers. Because of course, they're alliance, but I don't know how frequent that would be. If not, once every 10, 15 years, maybe you'd see somebody.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, it would not have been uncommon for Orlan to see a ranger in Rivendell,
No, that would not be common. Yeah.
Doing some research, that's where he met you, obviously.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Well, Oradon, would it be possible for you to leave some sort of sigil in an obvious spot to let your kinsmen know that someone was here and is aware of what they're doing?
I could probably scratch my mark on the stone here and see if they see my name, and then rewrite Annuminas afterwards to see if they come up with it.
And if not, they may leave a similar mark in response if they find it. Who knows?
Yeah.
It would seem sensible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will write a Quenya and then leave him like Captain Orlan, Captain of Imodis was here, going to Annuminas.
Little graffiti. I gotcha.
Yeah, little graffiti. Yeah.
Was ear WOZERE.
Yeah. Put her on the Ort scroll.
You want to put it on an ox skull? Okay, I'll pull one out of my bag.
Oh, yeah, ox skull.
You might want to peel the skin off first. It's a bit fresh.
Nah, just cut it to be better. It's like leather.
It's a wee bit fresh.
Okay. So Orlan leaves a mark. Got it. But we're going to continue traveling. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But it's still good to note that about the elves though. It's like if we ever go back this way, we can always check it out.
Yeah, I've marked it on the map. You'll see the mark that I put there once we move your token.
See it.
Okay.
So I need another travel roll.
Okay.
Really just happens.
Oh,
jeez.
Good enough, though. It's good enough.
Success.
Okay,
So great success.
Very good.
Great success!
So, wow, that's great. So, 1, 2, 3, and you're in Annuminas.
Hey!
Way to go, dude.
Very
Way to
good.
go.
Nice.
So,
Nice, bud.
get rid of these lines here. We've got the mark there. Yeah, so I guess, I was expecting another encounter, but this is fine.
Oh, I didn't know we had. Is there an encounter at the end of the location we meet, or is that no?
No. Once you reach your hex, there are no more encounters.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take care of fatigue. So let's see, Derek, Egil, and Orlan remove 2, which I'm taking care of.
Okay, thank you.
For their mounts. Now, everyone individually needs to make a travel roll. You cannot help each other. You can spend hope if you want. But again, you are traveling to a safe place. So it's not like you're going to be immediately adventuring.
Well, I'll try and help, Derek.
I got a bloody fail.
You can't help each other. This is individual.
Oh, I thought you said you could help each other.
Cannot.
Yeah, I failed.
All right.
Yeah, I failed.
Failure.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
That was a
Failure.
close Gandalf room. That was very so close.
It was close.
This could.
Oh,
Oh,
failure.
fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that everybody?
No, my hearing went out for a second. What are we rolling against?
Oh,
Travel.
sorry. You need to make a travel roll
A
to
travel roll.
mitigate
Okay.
fatigue.
Already?
That's another skill we need to learn.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh,
That'll do it.
ooh,
That will
nice.
do
Look
it.
at that. Fantastic.
Very nice. So, with an automatic success, I think I'm going to continue with certain rolls, allowing automatic successes to count as having a single T. Should I do that? Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, so that means that everybody except Sargon takes 2 fatigue. You
Okay.
need to add that to your sheet.
One
Sargon, you're going to add
fatigue.
4 to your sheet.
Okay.
Where's fatigue on the sheet?
Should be next to your endurance and load and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
Endurance, load, hope, shadow.
Can't see
Sorry,
it.
it's the small box just been to the diagonal
load.
beneath load.
Ah, right, fine.
Oh yeah, the fatigue there, right. So what am I adding, sorry?
Yeah. 2.
2. Okay. Yeah, I see it. So that adds to your load. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is taken care of. That journey is essentially complete and took... Oh, I forgot to add days there.
Do we do rests
So-
as well in between? When we're traveling for like 3 days, do we do 3 rests, or do we not bother with
You
rests?
do, but you can't actually restore fatigue unless you rest in a safe place, i.e. not traveling.
Okay.
So doing a rest, the in between rests and the travel isn't actually giving us anything back, is it?
Actually, if any of you were wounded or had some endurance loss, that would recover
No.
with your prolonged rest each night, but that's already happened.
Nah,
You've
my
all
hope
been-
my hope is down and my
Yeah.
shadow is up, but that's it.
Hope, no, the only way you can recover hope is fellowship voice, or sometimes during a fellowship phase, which we're going to be entering here very quickly. But it is Sunday, Chithing 11. Is that right? Sunday? Is that what they call it? Yeah,
I
guess
think so. I think it's just called Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the weather
Because the sun's just called the sun.
is 17C with cloudy skies.
Taps off.
That's
Okay.
actually pretty good.
That's taps
That's
off for a dwarf, mate.
That's pretty good.
And we will
my moves out.
say, just to match my my picture, that you actually arrive in the region of Annuminas around sunset.
I like it.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
Oh, that's
And
gorgeous.
Ooh.
there on the edge, on the shores of Lake Evendim, known as Nenuil, is the ruins of Annuminas, the once great city of the Numenor, of the Numenorians, I should say, of Numenor. And this is where Gilrain has set up camp for the majority of her people. Obviously, there are other places in the region where groups of Dunedain camp, but this is where the majority of them take their rest, and they use it as a kind of capital. But, as I said, it is in ruins. So let's take a look at Annuminas.
Ooh.
Oh.
This is a map of
Lots.
Annuminas in the Third Age. You all
Okay.
will be approaching along Men Aran, which is the high road, the King's Road, over on this side of the map. I guess I need to set it so I can ping.
Which is
Over
king
here.
and which is road? Men Aran.
Men is king.
Men is king and Aran is road.
Is road, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're learning languages, folks.
Okay.
We're learning languages.
Yeah.
Like my favourite thing.
The bridge that crosses the Baranduin is the river, also known as the Brandywine, if anybody is familiar with that particular name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The bridge still stands and is still sturdy, but then across you have the ruins of Annuminas. Now, to give you some idea of what you're looking at here, you'll notice these lines of contour around. In between each of those lines of contour is roughly 50 meters. So Annuminas actually starts at the bottom and very quickly goes
What
up
the hell?
a mount in tiers.
Question.
Where
Okay.
Question before I forget.
Erithil would know. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Because my Lord of the Rings knowledge isn't as good as some of the guys here. I think I recognise Brandywine. Is it a hobbit's last name?
No.
It's actually the river that travels
It's the-
through the Shire.
It's the same river goes through the
Brandywine
Shire,
River.
so I have heard it in a hobbit's context. I am hearing it around hobbits.
Yep, you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. The Brandywine Bridge
Yep.
was famous in Lord of the Rings. That was where
Buckleberry Ferry also crosses the
Buckleberry Ferry
Brandywine.
crossed it,
Buckleberry
right?
Ferry was how they crossed the Brandywine, and the Black Riders had, when they said, "Can they cross?" Oh, they'll have to go to the Brandywine Bridge,
Yep,
which is
it's
so many
now.
miles.
20 miles.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Yes.
miles.
So yeah, this is a mountain essentially,
About
and
500 meters. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been tiered, and all of these you can kind of see like the shapes of buildings and roads. Most of it is in ruin. Erithil would know that at the top, where you have these
Encampment.
clearly defined structures, those are essentially like tents
Mhm.
and more temporary, like some wood structures. There's also a bit of gardening and what do you call it? Working with trees.
You know, like
Orchard?
horticulture and agronomy and all
What's-
that good stuff.
What's-
Yeah,
what's-
a little bit of that at the top.
What's the word for trees? There's a word for it.
Orchard?
Someone said
Could be
horticulture.
could be
Yeah, horticulture.
coppicing.
Horticulture is just
Yeah,
plants
something
in
like that.
general.
But at any
I
rate,
don't
they
remember.
they
I
are
should know
looking after themselves up there, but it's by no means a permanent settlement. Although it is kind of, it's not like they haven't raised walls or anything like that. The mount is the wall. They can see everyone who's coming, and as you'll notice that
There's an almost
traveling
sheer
through
drop
the
there.
ruins, yeah, it's a lot more sheer drop on that side.
Is that a road going up
Um,
it, like a spiral?
There is a path.
Yeah.
It is a bit broken, but there is a path. Erithil would also know that the oval that the encampment is built in is actually the ruins of the royal palace.
It's almost like Gondor, City of Gondor. The
And
tier.
would the second
In some ways, yeah.
this-
Gondor, or well, not Gondor, minus Tirith, obviously, but
Oh, yeah,
minus
minus
Tirith
Tirith.
is quite a bit bigger.
It's the
Um,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the second oval that would be the palace gardens, right?
More like a square,
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Obviously not square; it's oval. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Got the
kind of.
folks
With
spreading
like
out
a
from
gate
that.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should be
Um,
pestering Arithil for details as we're going along. You know, what's
Hey,
that?
what's that? What's that?
And, yes.
I mean, Erithel would probably just be telling,
In fact,
you know, all the history and stories and
Look at-
everything that he knows.
As much as he knows, right? Because Annuminas is old.
Looking at this
Annuminas
map,
is,
it would
you're
look.
talking like early Second Age, late First Age
That's thousands of years, isn't it?
construction. Multiple thousands of
It,
years.
it looks
yes.
looks like there's a road that goes straight from the palace to the bridge. Goes like in an actual
There is.
exact straight line,
Yep.
That
Yeah,
the main road
Now,
of the town.
all of this down here is kind of broken up by rubble
And it's all
new
downhill.
growth and greenery, but it is downhill.
So,
But the rise is more gentle,
Aye.
going from the bridge
so I'm just
to the peak.
I'm picturing when the castle or the palace was still there, you would see anybody approaching from the very far end of your town. You
Oh,
would
yeah,
know somebody was coming.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Which is why there are no ruins of walls.
And before as well, because you're elevated, you'll see them before they get to this bridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, because on the other side of the river, it's actually quite flat.
Mm-hmm. You'll see for
There
miles.
is some contouring, of course, but it's largely flat. You will also note that I've marked on here that there are barrows on the other side of the river, the Dane barrows, long historied barrows of the people of the north. So yeah, that is Annuminas, and this is where you're heading. So
What's the dimensions on the measurement on the map? Because from the bridge to the edge of the oval square, if you know what I mean, is about 4.3 units. Just wondering what that refers to.
Oh, someone did a circle.
Now you're making me look at my original. Because what I had to do is I had to take a map of Annuminas that is good and ruin it up for you.
You should know we're gonna want these fucking tiny stupid details by now.
I should put it on there.
We love the details.
That's on me.
Like is this map from one of the old One Ring books, or is this from another book from Middle Earth?
This is from the Ice Middle Earth role-playing line. That I pulled the original map.
Ah, okay.
So from the bridge to the square, the tip of the square, the first oval, is about
a couple of miles, a mile.
What is that? It'd be about 4, so it's about 800 meters.
Aye, so about half a mile then.
I think it should
the
be
square itself.
Because that's not a small slope. That's a 500-meter rise in 800 meters.
That would be like that.
Meters or feet? Hang on, let me double check.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like
the contours are 50-foot increments.
Ah, that makes up a big
My
difference.
mistake. I shouldn't be saying meters. They use feet. I forgot. So the contours are about 50-foot increments, and it's about 800 feet from the bridge to the opening of the first oval.
Ah, so only a couple of hundred yards.
That's still 500 feet in 800 feet.
There's a lot of steps.
That's
a steep boy. That's like a 30% incline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my days. Okay.
People were fit.
I could probably do them. In fact, I could probably do the Pythagoras and work it out, but it's.
But yeah, it's significant. We'll put it that way. There was also, and I will say, it didn't show up quite as well on my revision of the map. But over here, I guess we can get rid of that thing here before it offends someone. Over here at the edge of this kind of road that runs through what would have been orchards, there is a ruin of a tower that still has several levels in it. Would have been a watchtower. And that is actually what I imagine in that first picture that I showed you, is where the watch was kind of keeping watch over the area.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, do you want to stay here, or do you want to go back to the pretty picture?
I like the pretty picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love maps, but that is just a thing of beauty.
That is beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, there's no, as you, assuming you approach, and assuming Erithil is leading, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
there's
be close
no
behind
signs.
Ready to greet them.
Fair enough.
The diplomats.
There's no signs of movement or activity in the ruins themselves, although Erithil, you know, and may, pass the information on to your companions, that it is not uncommon to find some of your folk in the ruins, either looking for lost useful items, or on occasion repelling invaders, because there are still, on occasion, troops of orc and other darker things that will try to take Annuminas and try to bring down the Dunedain. But it seems like nothing of the sort is happening today, which is perhaps a good thing.
Do they have basements and things, Arethil? I mean, did they delve deep? I mean, were they allied with Derek's folk? Or is
Not
it
quite
surface?
so deep.
Yeah, I mean, Erithil, you would know that a lot of the ruins of the buildings on the lowest levels would probably not, because you're at the confluence of the Brandywine and Lake Evendim that you probably can't dig too deep before you're at the water table and have some issues.
And everything's
But as
keeping
you
in,
head
yeah.
upwards,
You'd have cellars and that kind of thing.
as you head upwards, there would be cellars. The palace had extensive underground chambers.
Possibly a
Catacombs
dungeon.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't want to call them a dungeon because the Numenorians weren't exactly like that, but
It's going to be there's still going to be cells down there. That's where the jail will be.
yeah,
The jail's underneath the castle.
Catacombs.
May have a catacomb as well.
but again, how much of that is accessible at this point without significant digging?
I like digging.
Is questionable. Yeah, that's,
Love it.
you would.
Love a bit of digging. Fucking love a dig, I do. Love a good dig.
I mean, if you're looking at rebuilding the place, Derek's folk are great working with stone, aren't you, Derek?
I kind of wonder if
second to none,
just
Nego.
wouldn't
Second
say,
to none.
almost just wistfully, if ever a time comes where they rebuild this place, I hope they call upon your folk.
Well,
No one delves like a dwarf.
it's interesting that you're having that conversation because as you enter the square and come roughly, because if I recall correctly, I'm just going to say it is, the square is kind of on the same level as the temple would have been. You're not going up any further.
Yeah.
But as you come level with that, you can see that amidst some fallen walls, kind of an oval, what would have been, Derek possibly could even imagine like this oval palace, and framed by that, and inside of it, you just see tents and a couple of wooden structures. They're well appointed. The fabric is good, the stitching is good, the craftsmanship is good. I mean, it's not dwarven, right, Derek? But it's decent.
You can't expect dwarven craftsmanship from non-dwarves, though.
Right, that's fair. But
Yes,
although
but be fair, Derek, your kind do give apprenticeships to folk from Dale.
Oh, we do.
We do strive to do the best that we can as humans.
Yes, we do. We're always teaching humans. You'll never be at our level, but we'll do our best to get you as close as we can.
Oh, we're always grateful for any hints and skills you can give us.
And Derek's folk aren't nomadic, so tents wouldn't be their purview anyway.
But for all that it looks well appointed, it is also important to point out that these are not opulent tents. There might be some color to them, but these are structures and tents made by people with survival as their primary impulse. So they're probably comfortable to a point, but not
a king's
not
pavilion.
as comfortable as not as comfortable as a pavilion in Rivendell or a chamber in Erebor. They are practical.
I mean, it's above the ground. The beds are soft. It's very human. Very human.
Oh, you'll find that the beds are quite hard. They don't go on a lot of padding. You'll like it. It's almost like sleeping on a stone slab.
Can't beat a stone slab. It's the best. The flatter, the better.
As you approach, again, there's no palisade. There's no gate. It's just an open camp, but there is obviously kind of a main lane and a small square within the camp. And as you approach Erithil, do you see anyone that you recall? Or do you want me to tell you who you see?
I think Erithil would maybe see a younger ranger that he had known back the last time he was here, which would have been years ago. But somebody that he may have briefly worked with, for bowmanship or something like that. And now they're an adult and, time has passed.
Do you recall his name, or do you want to tell me later?
Say, Aramil.
Aramil, okay.
Or Arvaleg, sorry, Arvaleg.
Right in pen here.
King.
Aramil's too close to Arathil.
All right, how do you spell that?
Arveleg.
Arvaleg.
Yeah,
Arvaleg.
the last king of Honor, if I remember it, was Arvaleg.
So Arvaleg comes out of the main, central square of the encampment and rushes to meet you, thrusting his hand forward and doing kind of like the forearm clasp and the hand on the shoulder. Arathil, welcome back.
Arvaleg. Oh my god. You have become quite a stout figure. I'm impressed. It's
Well,
good to see you.
You know how it is. You pull your weight and you do what you can. And you have friends.
I do. I do indeed. And he'll go through to introduce everybody.
His gaze lingers on Derek. Dwarves are uncommon. Although you see
We're built different, mate.
it's not quite so much a wow, I've never seen a dwarf before. It's almost like, huh, another one.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like,
No,
there's
it's-
been another one pass through.
Well, he doesn't say that out loud.
I'm not gonna.
It's
Yeah,
just
I'm not
really
gonna. I'm not gonna say anything. But I caught the look, and I'll give him a smile
Okay.
and a nod, and I'll reach out my hand for the warrior's handshake as well, the forearm clasp. I like a good one.
As
of
you
them.
do so, I would say that Derek probably can hear a very precise pinging on a forge. Precise to the point of like, that's a dwarven cadence
Oh. And then
coming from the camp.
then I'm gonna say something as I'm shaking his hand. I'll be like, "Oh, is that the sound of a dwarven blacksmith? Is that?"
Oh, yes, Master Dwarf. There's been a one of your kind with us for some weeks now.
Oh, I must meet him.
Arrived just after Arathel left, in fact.
I must meet this fellow.
Or maybe months. I don't know how long Arathel's been gone.
Months. Still
Okay.
months.
So yeah, he arrived. Maybe I'll say he arrived a few weeks ago. Then he hasn't been here for months. Yes, he set up just beyond the what he calls it, the mead tent, but really it's just where we take our meals.
Well-
Arathel gets kind of a chuckle out of that one.
And what's the dwarf's name?
Well, I mean, you understand, I just refer to him as Master Dwarf, but I believe I caught his name as Dahlgren, son of Dahlgren?
Right. And does that ring any bells for me?
I can't tell the difference. Dahlgren, son of Dahlgren. I guess there is a difference there. No, the name doesn't ring any bells to you. In fact,
It's not one of Durin's folk. It's not a Durin's folk family name.
the structure of the name, if you had to guess, it would probably be a dwarf from the Iron Hills,
Right.
as opposed to
Yeah.
one of Durin's folk.
Okay. Well,
Never mind, Derek. They'll still speak Kuzdoran.
I'm going to
Yeah,
make.
he will still speak Kuzdal.
I'm going to be making a point of meeting that man. Definitely.
Okay.
Nice.
So, I forgot his name. Arvaleg says, but I'm sure you want to meet with the lady.
We do indeed. We have news.
Please follow me. And he leads you into the main square. And again, it's a square of tents, but the tents are not always small. There are quite a few. What Arathil would probably explain to all of you are kind of like dormitory tents where multiple rangers will take their rest. But there are also a couple of larger tents, like I guess we could call it the commissary tent, or the eating tent. There is a large tent where supplies are kept. There is a smaller tent that is closer to the gardens that constantly has smoke coming out of it. Probably an indication of an alchemist or a healer of some kind. And then the largest tent, perhaps unsurprisingly, is both kind of a meeting hall, but also where the lady takes her rest. And Arvaleg opens the flat for you and allows you all entrance. Currently, there's nobody really inside other than the lady, who seems to be seated at a table looking at some maps. And she looks up and meets Erethil's gaze with a great smile and stands. And before you is the Lady Gilrain, also known as Gilrain the Fair.
How do you spell Gilrain? G-I-L?
R-E-A-N.
Thank you.
It's actually A-E-N, yeah.
Oh, A-E-N, sorry.
Yeah.
Gilraen.
Gilrain the Fair.
Yeah.
I lettered the switch.
Gilrain, okay.
Oh, and I'll make that visible for you now in the handouts.
I love the art.
That's beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So is this the Mother of Strider or no?
Well, I mean, you don't know that.
We don't
but yes.
know
Well,
that,
no, that's
yeah.
no, that's just out of character knowledge. I was just curious.
Yeah, and this is the leader of the Dunedain, for all intents and purposes. Not that she has ever, in Erethil's lifetime, lorded it over anyone. People follow her more out of respect than out of any kind of pressure from her. And she welcomes Erethil back, and she welcomes all of you. Please take a seat. I assume you're here regarding the letter that I sent to that young man in Bree, I believe it was.
Yes. We are indeed, my lady.
Yep.
I bring grim news, unfortunately. In our travels, we did encounter orcs, encampment that had taken some of the hill folk. And we did encounter a beast that referred to herself as the first Hound of
Angmar.
Sauron, the Hound of Angmar.
The Witch King, yeah.
Gareth, the first hound of the Witch King Angmar.
Ooh.
A cowardly bitch as well.
Yeah, there she is.
Alas,
Well, I
couldn't figure
assume
for
since you're here that she's defeated. Hopefully.
Nah,
I'll look at
She was
Defeated is
driven
a-
off.
defeated
my
is a
lady.
strong word.
She retreated
Brave,
back.
he was heavily wounded by
She escaped.
Master Dwarf Derek, but she did retreat and was able to survive.
She fled to the east, we believe.
And I cannot call that a victory.
Northeast, I believe, near towards Mount Gundabad, or Mount Graham, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense, unfortunately. Hopefully we have some time before she informs anyone of your actions.
She was very badly wounded. Not badly enough, but badly wounded.
Well, creatures like that, if not removed from the board, they tend to find themselves in fighting fit very soon. Dark magics move them all.
If my companions will let me, I'm going to hunt her down and kill her, like.
I would certainly provide to you a great gift where you're able to do so.
I'll do it out of the goodness of my heart. I'll do it out of hate for evil. I'll not say no to a gift, but I'm doing it without the gift anyway.
Really
I should
agree.
point
I
out,
would do.
as you're speaking to her, how you all take this information is up to you. She is fair, and that means that she is attractive to even people not of her own folk. She is that attractive.
But
Yes, but she's old, isn't
I'm
she?
I'm racist.
She's not. No, she doesn't look old in human terms.
but
No,
she's
she's
good at
doing
it.
it.
I'm racist.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to her.
Yeah, you go, but like, hello, my lady.
You can recognize how attractive she
I
is.
can
though.
recognize she's attractive for a human. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can recognize that a horse is an attractive horse. Doesn't mean I want to put my thing in it.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, that you know.
Okay.
Like an attractive
So
dwarf
yeah,
woman.
She doesn't
I'm
even
sorry,
have
go
a
ahead.
beard. She's not even got a beard. How am I supposed to find her attractive? Come on now.
If you squint, maybe you can see a little bit of peach fuzz, but I mean that's true of anyone.
She
you know?
could
Billy
just
Williams
she could
look.
just strap the hair down here maybe.
Yeah, it's like turn the lights down.
Ridiculous.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Sorry, Token.
She takes you very seriously and says, "Well, again, if you manage to do so, please inform me. Removing such a creature would be a benefit to all."
I've never
Again,
wanted
I
something
just
more,
hope
my
we have
lady.
some time.
I've never wanted
Yes,
something
we
more in
can't
my
let
life.
We can't let
I
the servant
fear-
of the shadows roam free in Middle Earth.
Well, I fear that she's but the first of those kinds of creatures. There is something stirring, and it seems to be making other things wake up.
I will just keep them back to sleep then.
Thankfully, unless it can raise them from the dead, we know that there's at least one other wolf that won't be coming
Right.
back from its,
Yes,
back
we-
s- sleep.
Oh,
On
indeed,
the
her mate.
Spear.
We found another one just as large but long dead.
Indeed.
Yeah, point at
Kills
the spear. We
him
found
with
that in
a
the head.
large spear in his side. Where he fell.
Indeed.
Oh,
Killed by
a
an,
mighty
el-
weapon, perhaps.
an elven greatspear. I'm very surprised the thing didn't break.
The elven
Well-
broadcasters should be sturdy as the dwarves, I will say.
Eric,
They don't always make things the way they used to.
Come on now, Morello. Don't have a laugh with me. Don't pull my plunker like that.
I'm sure you well know more than others, Master Dwarf, that the elves are quite capable of twisting enchantments around certain powerful weapons, just
Of
as your own kind do from time to time.
Aye. There's no substitute for cold hard steel and a strong arm, though.
Well, a
That'd be
sharp
what the spear
tongue
tip is
can
made of.
substitute as well, you know, Derek.
Right. You put your axe.
How
You
you
put your axe.
come?
You put your tongue on the table. I'll hit it with my axe, and we'll see who wins.
She stands and says, "Please, friends, take your rest. You've had a long journey to go from Bree to that dark hole and then here. Take time. Reflect on what's happened. And perhaps then I might have more for you if you're willing." I'm sorry. Yes, Master Elf?
I do. Sorry, my lady. We traveled through a old battlefield. Like, you know, he shows in a map right here, and
Yes,
like,
many
my cousin-
battles were fought there.
Yeah, my cousin he reports to Orlon that we seen movements of an elf through there. Has there been elf or at least elf sightings in the area?
We have visitors from time to time. I myself have seen Master Orlon before, but none stands out to me, not of recent times. You might ask around the camp. I don't keep track of every single person who passes through, every person of good folk, you understand.
Mhm.
Do we have scouts in that area that pass through from time to time? Maybe they've seen something.
Currently, I've instructed the scouts to steer clear of Fornost for reasons. I've had ill feelings about what's going on there for some time. They form a perimeter, but I generally don't want them closer, and based on this map, that is closer than I would want them to be currently.
Understandable, my lady. Oh. I believe it is time to take our rest.
Think so.
Indeed.
Well, have some food. It is all, after all, just dark. So by all means, have some food. Speak to some friends or others. I know the rest of you are new here. Well, except for Master Orlan. Again, welcome.
Thank you.
Hopefully your family as well, and Elrond, I assume.
Yes, I was going to give you regards from Master Elrond. Ever to meet you, my lady.
Oh, wonderful. Well, perhaps when you return, you can give him my regards as well.
I will.
I will bow politely and... Sorry.
In fact, I have a letter I would like you to take to him at your convenience. Nothing that is a hurry. Just remind me before you leave if I do not give it to you.
There we go. I shall remember that, my lady.
So she actually stands and kind of... Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eggle.
Eggle bows and explains that he has been tasked with establishing links with good folk throughout the world by the Lords of Dale, and he would be grateful for a chance to speak with someone of the Dunedain to see what can be done to establish relations, diplomatic, military, whatever, to aid both sides in this dark time.
Well, Master Eggle, or, I'm sorry, Master Thorelson, unless I may refer to you as Eggle.
Of course, milady, as you wish.
We can certainly have such a discussion. I'm at a bit of a loss as to what me and my people can offer to your folk on the other side of the mountain, but I'm not opposed to the idea of relations, as it were.
There are a few.
Well,
she kind of like
foes?
knowledge of our foes, of course. But I'm, at least as things stand, I'm reticent to send any of the people who trust me across the mountains. And as you can see, and she just kind of waves her arm around, we've nothing in the way of, well, let me just say that I did have an occasion to visit Dale once in the past few years, and you are all quite more well off than we are, as it were.
Understood, milady. But
no jealousy, you understand.
Oh.
We live the way we live by choice, but...
But
perhaps, my lady, I could act as an emissary of sorts.
Perhaps, if your travels take you across the mountains. I will say, Master Eggle, that if you wish to send a letter back to Dale saying that we are open to discussion and possibilities, that is, I can wholeheartedly put myself behind that. I just don't know what that would look like as yet.
I'm most grateful, my lady. Whether our lords intend sending forth merchants to establish trade across the region, I do not know. I was merely sent out with this task.
Indeed. Well, I will say that should your lords decide to send merchants and supplies in our direction, we would be most welcoming. We might not be able to spend as much as they might wish, but, well, my quartermaster has told me that times have become more difficult of late. Not quite fond of his ideas, but that's a discussion for another time. By all means, you all must rest and take your time.
Thank you,
Again,
buddy.
there's no rush. I believe we probably have some time before this hound is able to report to anything it might consider a master. So take rest and as I said, reflect upon what you've dealt with.
Very well.
And yeah, she stands and kind of ushers all of you out and comes with you because she's going to go get some food as well. And we can head into, if you guys want, a fellowship phase.
Hey.
Yay. All
Sounds great.
right.
So the fellowship phase is the third type of phase you run into. There are a couple of different there are two kinds of fellowship phases. This is just a basic one. The first thing I need to ask you is, how long do you guys want to rest?
Oh, how long
It
does
is
it
up
take
to
for-
you.
How long is it? How many days does it take, or time does it take to get rid of certain?
So, with fatigue, you can remove 1 point of fatigue per prolonged rest. So,
So per day.
Sargon has 4 points of fatigue. That's at least 4 days right there.
Mhm.
For other things, it depends, because in a fellowship phase, there is a structure, and we have to determine what we're going to do. Now, I'll just take you through the steps and we'll talk about it. Set duration is the first one. Honestly, though, you can't really set the duration until you think about the destination. If you're just going to rest here and continue adventuring, then it could be a matter of days. If any of you want to use this fellowship phase, well, you have to do it together, actually, to return to another stronghold, which you can do without journeying. It's considered to be a safe journey.
Okay.
You could say, we want to go to Rivendell, or we want to go to... Well, I'm not going to let you go to the other side of the mountains. That would take too long. And crossing the mountains is perilous. But you could say, we want to go to Bree. We want to go because you've been there. I will say you can go to Rivendell because two of you have spent significant amounts of time there. Generally, you can only do a fellowship phase in a safe location that you've been to, right?
That's friendly.
That's friendly, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was assuming you'd probably just take a fellowship phase here and then continuing adventuring, but that's up to you guys.
I'm
Right.
happy
I
with
say
that.
take it.
Okay.
I say take a fellowship here and then start go from there.
Okay. So, if you want to fully get rid of your fatigue, that's going to take at least 4 days.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the other things that you do is you can do updates, which involves training, growth, and spiritual recovery.
Oh, yes, please.
And then, as a group, you can do a undertaking. There's a lot of things that you can do as undertakings. You can gather rumors. You can meet your patron, or potentially get a patron. You technically don't have one yet. You can ponder storied and figured maps to gain a bonus to your journeys for the next little while.
Okay.
You can strengthen your fellowship, which allows you to improve your fellowship rating until the next fellowship phase.
Okay.
Can we
can s-
remove shadow?
Good
Thought we were
question,
gonna go
David.
there.
Good
So-
Yeah,
question.
very good question.
Well, we got fellowship points to spend.
So
skill
removing
points to
shadow
spend.
is part of updating your character, potentially. We'll talk about that. But then in addition, you can study magical items or write a song. But during a regular fellowship phase, you can only do one of those as a group. During a Yule fellowship phase, which is the end of the year, nobody adventures in winter, each of you can do an undertaking individually because you all do
Okay.
go home.
Yeah.
But for right now, you're going to have to figure out one thing to do. So let's just take it in steps. We know we're going to stay here. We know we're going to do at least 4 days.
Yes.
Let's talk about training. You can spend your skill points to develop your player hero skill ratings using experience point cost table below. You don't have to spend all your points at once. Skill points can be saved to acquire more expensive upgrades during a later fellowship phase. Any remaining points are kept track of by using the appropriate space on the character sheet. Now, if you want to take a look at the chart and not just have me quote it at you, I'll remind you, you do all have access to the core rulebook.
Yep.
Is there a
And
journal
it
there?
is... you should have a journal called Rulebooks. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that
And
under
it
chapter
should-
7?
It should be on
Fellowship
page
phases.
119.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah, because I want to study the spear, for example, because I might use that spear we found. The heavy
So that's
spear.
an undertaking, and if you want to
Hmm.
study the spear, that's going to involve everybody agreeing, yes, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
We'll get to that though. Let's take care of updates first.
Yep.
So on page 119, there's a chart at the bottom of the first column that tells you how much things cost. You can improve your valor or wisdom rank. You can improve a skill, or you can improve a combat thing, right? Combat proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that to improve a skill, you have to spend skill points. To improve your wisdom or valor or your combat proficiencies, you have to adventure adventure points. So you've got two different
Okay.
pools, right?
Okay.
The costs are all listed there, though. So to improve a skill, to buy a new skill is 4 points. Then to go from 1 to 2 is 8. 2 to 3 is 12. 3 to 4 is 5, and so forth. You guys can read the chart.
And we have
To
12.
improve your valor, or wisdom rank, and those costs are the same, I should say, for combat proficiencies as well. But it's adventure points instead of skill points.
Right, okay.
Okay.
To improve your valor or wisdom, it's 2 points to go to 2. These are adventure points. 3 points to go to 3. 4 points to go to 4. But with valor and wisdom, you can only improve those when, I believe, when I say you can. Valor, wisdom, depth, rank. Oh no, I guess you can kind of do that whenever you want, to be honest. During a single fellowship phase, players can acquire a maximum of 1 rank in each combat proficiency.
Okay.
They can also buy a rank, in either wisdom or valor, but not both.
So you can do one off the
Okay.
other two, right? Okay. And it's adventure points for the wisdom and
It's
valor.
adventure points for wisdom and valor and combat proficiencies, and it's skill points for skills. Now, you
Okay.
might be asking yourself, why would I improve my wisdom or valor? So, on one level, it's to make you more resistant to shadow, because you'll recall whenever I told you to make a shadow test, you were rolling either wisdom or valor. So that's 1 point. The second point is every time you gain a point of valor, you gain an additional reward for an item.
Oh, yeah.
So like your
weapon
gear
better.
becomes more powerful.
Okay.
Every time you gain a point of wisdom, you actually gain a new cultural ability or a virtue, as they're called. So
And it's one or
if
the
you
other.
want to
We
get new
can't,
abilities,
can't
you
do
can't
valor
do
and
both in
wisdom.
a single fellowship phase. You have to do one or the other.
But we could do
And
abilities
to go
and
to
skills.
rank 2,
We could do the two sides
You
of the
can,
coin.
yeah. Yeah, all
Okay.
that you can do. You can spend as many skill points as you want. You can increase each combat proficiency once, and you can do either valor or wisdom.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear?
All
Yep.
right.
Well, I'm doing valor for 2 points anyway.
Now,
doing
if we
2,
bought,
and that's 2 adventure points.
Valor is 2 adventure points, right? Okay. So we're
And
doing.
you'll
if
note
we
on your
bought-
character sheet.
Do I remove
Hang
the
on
one
one
that's
second, Marshall.
okay, sure.
Is
Yeah.
it the small diamond or
You'll
the big
note
diamond?
on your character sheet that you change. I believe you change the big diamond, and the small diamond will just keep track of your total to give us an idea of your full power, essentially.
Okay, so I've
Okay.
spent 2 and I'm going to increase my valor to 2.
Doing the
Okay.
same.
Now, Marshall, what were you saying?
Was just asking if we bought a new combat skill, so like spears, could
Yep.
we build that up to say 2 or 3, or would it have to be just 1 point? This combat skill.
I believe, as I just read, that is 1 point
Yes, 1
per
point. Okay.
fellowship phase.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
they
players
come
can
in- and they-
acquire a maximum of 1 rank in each combat proficiency per fellowship phase.
Per fellowship. Okie dokie. So
Okay.
I will I will use 2 energy points for increase my valor, and use
I've done that.
and then use 4 points to increase my spear, if I can do that. The combat proficiency on spear.
So it's
So
combat proficiency.
let me be clear
right,
well, I want to be clear before anybody gets confused. I want to make sure that we're all on board with who's going to be using the spear.
Yeah,
I
we
thought-
probably agree on that.
I thought the discussion was that Erithil was interested
I think it's all
Yeah.
right.
in improving his ability to use spears. But that's a discussion between you two.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think anybody else is really interested in it.
No, I'm good. Well, I
I
mean,
think
if they're both skilled at it, they could always toss the weapon right there. If one wants to use it, the other one could toss to use it.
Right.
Because I remember
That's not really a good idea in the One Ring, because the idea is that gear is connected to you.
Attached to
Like
you.
it,
Okay.
it kind
Part
of
of you.
becomes a part of you. If
Because
you're
I
just
remember
able to
having-
hand things back and forth, it's
Right.
a
It
little
ca-
game
Just,
breaking sometimes.
Does
Kind of
Orlon skilled in
it
spears?
ruins the effects that the weapons have, doesn't it?
Okay.
I have no skills in space, but I remember from last session I gave it to Arifil so he can use it. But after hearing
Okay.
Ego's story about me training for it, I got a little bit confused what happened last time.
I'm
now.
sorry,
So-
I got confused myself. I thought it was you that had it, Aurora.
Yeah, I got a little bit confused. So,
Well, I just don't want somebody to spend points that's like, oh, I thought I was using the spear. So is Erithil going to go the spear route with the spear?
I'm thinking about that, but I wanted to. I know you had said earlier, as we learn about it, you could actually take the abilities from that particular weapon and put it into a weapon of your own.
So if one of the things you can do with the spear is you can essentially
Store it.
sacrifice
reforge
it.
Yeah, sacrifice
okay.
it, yeah.
It's not being reforged. You're giving it to. You would either give it to Gilraine so that she can put it in their armory, or you could give it to Elrond so he can put it in their armory so that someone else can use it. But then you would be able to use. One of you would be able to gain a reward to replace that item, essentially.
Oh, okay. Because I was actually thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
You know, because he's got his sword, he's got his father's sword,
Sure.
Eldar, and then he would basically just do a reward for that. You know,
Yeah.
begin unlocking the abilities of his father's sword.
So is everybody good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yep.
No bottoming.
Okay. So I don't think that's an undertaking. I think you just present the spear to Gilraine,
Okay.
and then she would sit down with you and talk to you more about your father's sword and kind of help you
hmm
recover or understand some power within it. So let me just double check that. To
Am I
make
right
sure
in
that's
thinking,
how it
Brian,
works.
that
Yep, go ahead.
if my axe is free, I would have to put it up to 4, and that would cost me 20 adventure points.
That's correct.
So I'm not going to do that because I don't have that many. To put spear from 2 to 3 is 12. I don't even have that many. Oh no, spear's on 1. I could put spear from 1 to 2. That would only cost me 8, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
But,
Is it? You also said there's a way that we can lower the TN on one of our things, or is that not
No.
possible?
I never said that.
Well, I didn't know if there was a way to do
Yeah,
that.
no, that's fair. No, your target numbers, that's what they are for the entirety of the game.
Okay.
The way that you deal with having a higher target number is you just learn more skills, right? Because the more points you have in skills, the more d6s you roll. And that helps you hit those higher TN numbers. It's a very different game from a starting character who has maybe like a d12 and 2d6 to a experienced character that has a d12 and 6d6 plus bonuses and favor and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
So
I didn't know. I just wanted to check.
yeah, no, that's fair. You definitely want to look at what skills you want to improve, and there's no, if you have the skill points, there's no
Restrictions to what level you can do.
there's no restriction on skill increases.
Okay, so if you had the points, you
Okay.
could do 1 level and then another level on the same skill.
If you had the points, yeah.
Okay, so question. I have taken 8 points off, and I'm trying to put spears from 1 to 2, but it won't edit it on my sheet.
You have to hold the Alt key. To
So I
make changes to
do. I
your
forgot about that. For some changes, like to remove points and stuff, you
sheet.
don't.
For some changes, yeah.
Okay, so I've
For
got
like
two.
dots and all that fun stuff.
I've got 2 adventure points left, so there's not much I can do with them, is there?
Yeah, you just hold on to them.
Hold on to them. But now we've got skill points.
Yeah, skill points. Yeah, I think I was going to ask about that. Like, how many times can we increase our skill points? Or is it only 1 per fellowship as well for the skill points?
Let's see. Players spend skill points to develop their player hero skill ratings using the experience point cost table below. They don't have to spend all the skill points at once. They can be saved. Oh, no, I was wrong, Oliver. It does say here, during a single fellowship phase, players can buy a maximum of 1 rank in each skill. So you can only always improve something by 1. That makes sense. That's
makes
fair.
sense. It makes sense.
Okay.
When you're learning something, you don't just suddenly skip a level of
Yeah,
it
you don't
in
just
the same
stack
day.
it.
Yeah, you don't go from white belt to yellow belt to blue belt in the same day. That's
In 1 week.
yeah, it's 2 different things.
Oh,
Okay, so if I'm putting battle up from 2 to 3, that'll cost me 12, right?
I guess. I'm not looking at the chart right now.
Aye, I'm gonna do that.
Um,
I'm going to
yeah,
increase
from
my
2 to
battle from
3,
1
yeah,
to
that cost
2.
you 12.
Okay, let me be sure about this magical treasure.
So I've got 2 adventure points left and no skill points left.
Yeah, I will increase my skill points now. I just need to check.
But I've got a reward
Let
to
me
get.
see. 12. Increase.
At my adventure points, I have Endurance of the Dunedain now. Or Endurance of the Ranger, which is a good
Okay.
one.
So I did just verify it is actually a fellowship phase undertaking. So that would be your undertaking for this phase to leave a piece of war gear enhanced by 1 or more rewards as a gift to their folk.
Oh, okay.
And then in game terms, player heroes trade the number of rewards possessed by the piece of war gear given as a gift with the activation of an equal number of qualities on a famous weapon or armor of their own, right? So
Yeah, so I'm gonna have.
If I was to take
you
my
would
axe,
be
which
able
has
to
a
do
reward,
that.
back to my people and give them it as a gift, I would get something back in return.
or if you found another item like that, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. Okay.
2 to 1 to
Guess I should check and see how many rewards are actually on that item.
There's no way to make a skill favoured if it's not already favoured, is there?
Yes. You can take a virtue of mastery.
Yeah, there's a virtue that you can take. There's a common virtue, but one of the things that kind of is important when you're leveling, it's always going to be up to you, but now that you are spending experience, and adventure points, you can purchase cultural virtues instead of just the common ones. And the cultural
that's a magic
virtues
one.
really begin to like identify you as like a dwarf or a man of Dale or
Okay, where do I find them in the rule
but you could also just take mastery.
Yeah, so what does it cost to take a mastery?
Well, you
That's
up your
virtue.
valor, right?
Uh-huh.
So you would have need to have upped your wisdom.
Yeah, that's a virtue.
So if
That's a virtue.
Right, so if I did my wisdom instead of my valor, I wouldn't get a reward. I could get a mastery.
Cultural.
Yep.
I wanted
Because
to.
Again, you
The
could.
virtue that I
but-
took when I created our Aerithil.
I'm just gonna say the common virtues. Mastery is nice, but the common virtues are literally nothing compared to the cultural ones.
Where do I find them in the rulebook?
In your culture section, so just look up Dwarves of Durin's Folk.
Virtues, cultural virtues of the dwarfs. Once per combat, when you fight a forward stance, you can make an attack roll favoured and attempt to intimidate foes as a secondary action. Oh.
That's huge, because normally if you want to use the stance ability, you actually have it's its own action.
Mhm.
But this is giving you the ability to do both. You can intimidate and attack with favor.
Okay, I think I might trade out the.
But for that, you have to do wisdom instead.
Aye, so I might
of-
trade out the valor and do wisdom, but I think I'm just going to take mastery this time because I think that general
Good one to have.
mastery on battle is going to be important for me. So let's change that. So let's get rid of.
I
valor
believe
plus
if you
one.
take mastery, you get 2
2 of them.
favored
Yep.
skills.
Had to travel and explore.
Because I took that as one of my initial cultural
Mm-hmm.
virtues.
Okay. So I changed my wisdom to 2. That means I can now take a virtue. No, I can take mastery. So how do I take mastery? It's in the virtues list, standard virtues, yeah.
Correct. Common virtues, yeah.
And you can't. Can I drag it over to my sheet somehow?
You should be able to. Yeah.
I'm in the wrong book. I'm in the rule book. I need it from some like a compendium, don't I?
Oh yeah, you have to go to the items page.
Compendium packs, and that is equipment. No. No.
Oh, incidentally, there is a common virtue called
Characteristics.
prowess. Called prowess. Lower one of your attribute target numbers by 1.
Oh, so you can. My mistake.
Yep.
But
Yes.
but again, that's a whole virtue. Keep in mind
Yes.
that throughout the course of the game, you are limited in the number of virtues you can have.
Right.
By the wisdom that you possess.
Right. So I am in. Ah, here we go. Found it. Mastery. So just drag it over to my sheet somewhere, right?
And also, just so everybody's clear, the maximum valor or wisdom is 6.
Mhm.
Like you don't go higher than that.
Does
So
anybody
you're
have
gonna
song
at
or riddle as a
most
skill?
6 virtues.
Then what
What skill is that?
Does anybody have song or riddle as a skill? I'm thinking about picking up a point in
I
one of
don't know
those.
if anybody does.
I've-
I think I
I've
have
got-
some song, but I don't have riddle.
I've got 1 Pippin song.
Okay, so I'll put a Pippin riddle then.
Okay.
I chose valor as my increase in my virtues.
I bumped up my awe by 1 and picked up a point of riddle.
Like when I choose the valor and then I get like a reward for the items here, can I stack
Correct.
things on my same weapon, or is it a separate weapon? Okay,
You can, but there is a limit.
there's a limit. Okay, almost limit again. I was quickly reading through here. Let's see.
I tell you what, that
So you've practiced certain skills
endurance
until
of
they
the
become.
ranger is awfully nice.
It's natural as being. So
So-
mastery is just choose 2 skills and make them favored.
Yep.
Sweet.
So there is a maximum of 3 rewards that you can apply to a famous weapon or armor, and that needs to be one of them needs to be an enchanted reward. So if it's just a normal
Okay.
weapon, you can't do that. Now the good news is you can, I believe, select now that you are, at a higher level.
I've got- sorry.
essentially,
I've got 2 pips in
an
riddle,
enchanted
Arathil.
reward.
I have 2 pips in riddle.
Let's see. What did you say, Brian?
Hang on, I'm double checking.
Yep.
Gotta change up my armor. Rats.
You're
Try to-
changing your armor.
Try to
That's
just.
because my the virtue that I chose is endurance of the ranger, and if you
Oh.
wear a suit of leather armor or no armor at all, you never gain fatigue during a journey.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
And he's
That's
wearing,
That's
a male,
nice.
That's very
That's
good.
nice.
he's
What,
wearing a male shirt of cunning make, so it's like, ouch! I have to
This-
sacrifice that.
No, you
sword,
don't.
But
I've-
you just transfer it over.
No, you don't. You're transferring the reward to something else.
So
Oh, okay.
I've took battle,
you're,
right?
you're not giving up. When you have a reward, you have a reward. So basically, you would go to Gilraine and be like, "This suit of mail has served me well, but I need something lighter."
Later.
And so she would offer you something, either a weapon with a reward of equal value. Value is not the right word.
Mhm.
Specialness to the suit of chain, or an armor.
Do we-
Okay.
I think I'm trying to think what I should take from
Tell
this.
you what, I'm
second one
I'm
here.
jumping over trying to figure out all these things at once. Let's just handle things one at a time.
Yep.
Well, I'm nearly
David.
finished.
Sorry about that.
I've got one more thing
Have
to
you?
do.
No, it's fine.
We could get me out the
Well,
way.
hang on. I'm just
Sorry.
going to go in
Yeah,
order.
ahead. Yeah,
David,
go ahead.
have you figured out your skill points and adventure points?
As far as adventure points are concerned, I'm putting 2 points into raising my wisdom by 1.
Okay. And have you considered a cultural virtue?
I think I would like to take the language
Or any
of
virtue.
birds.
Oh, okay. That's good for men of Dale.
How do you raise your wisdom? Oh, that's the thing that I did. Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
No, add a +2 to the result.
So again, you should just be able to find that virtue in the lists and pull it over to your sheet. If it needs to be like filled out with descriptions, I'll take care of that in between sessions. Where is the language of birds?
Page
Oh, you're a
82.
barding. Yeah, 82.
So
That's decent. Communicate with any bird.
that's pretty cool. My new favoured I took was battle, but I get to pick one more favoured. What do you guys think I should do? Will I use scan a lot? Because I've already got 3 pips in it. I could favour that, and I'd be really good at that.
Well, I'm favored in that one.
You're favoured in that, right? Okay. Well, I won't then. What I'm gonna do is
It doesn't hurt to have some overlap, but yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna be a
So
true
you-
dwarf, and I'm taking craft.
Okay,
Ah, there you go.
that's
Yeah,
good.
that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that's not favored for you.
Sorry, David. Go ahead.
So you've already got a pip in your travel skills.
The
ones that you roll for us for traveling.
I've got 3 in favour.
Yeah,
in
he's
travel.
favored in that.
3
Yes,
pips.
you're favoured in that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
how do I transfer that to my sheet?
So, if you click on the little suitcase icon on the right-hand side, do you see anything in that menu, or is it just empty for you?
Let's see.
Piercing blow.
Language of birds. There
Let's
isn't a
see,
suitcase
devices
item in the
on
rule book. Whereabouts would it?
No,
be?
I'm sorry. On the Foundry screen, not the rule book. The rule book's just a PDF. That doesn't have. It's not like Coriolis where it has the same kind of compatibility. Sadly.
When I click on the suitcase, all I get is the 3 journeys.
Okay. So in that case, that means I need to do something real quick.
That's the items, yeah, correct?
Yeah, items.
They're
Now, do you see
under
one
the
called
they're under
characteristics?
the compendium.
Yeah, but it's easier if you just use the items that way because they're already in there.
Right.
All right. So you should be able to see characteristics and equipment now. Do you see those
Nope.
in the item list? Really? Is it not?
Nope. No, the items tab, when I click on it, it pops out and all I can see is the 3 separate journeys.
Okay. So I guess we do. I tried to set it to where you guys can access it, but I guess they have that locked for some reason. So we can go to compendiums. You want to open up the
So,
characteristics compendium.
Characteristics, Yep.
And
this is under virtue.
Virtues, bardings, and
Bardings.
language of birds. Should be able to move
Language
it
of
over.
birds.
And that's all your points spent, right?
I just spent 2 points. I'm not spending
Oh.
any more of my adventure points.
Oh, you're saving the rest of the adventure points.
Well, I could only use 4 to to start learning how to use axes or bows. And it would
Oh,
cost
but
me
you
8.
you don't have enough to improve either of the weapons that you already
No,
have.
I only have 7
Yeah.
left.
That's fair.
So
Okay.
I will save that. As far as my skill points are concerned, I think I will probably start. Can I start 2 skills?
Yeah, as long as you're spending points on 2 different skills. Yeah, absolutely.
In that case, I would start awareness and give myself a point in that. And what else would be appropriate? Verbal would be riddle, so I will take 1 in riddle as well.
So yeah, so that's
Okay.
8 points. Nice.
Which
All right,
leaves me
Max.
with-
So I spent 2 adventure points to get up Valor 1, and
Okay,
I
so
spent...
that means you're going to gain an additional reward.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that also means you can get enchanted rewards now.
Ooh.
An APFK
Yeah, so
for a
we're
second,
starting-
but I can still hear everyone. Wireless headset.
Okay.
Where's the enchanted rewards?
So enchanted rewards, if you go to page 165,
Okay.
includes things like ancient close fitting, or ancient cunning make, or superior fell, or superior grievous, or superior keen. If you want to add another enchantment to your bow, it has to be
Yeah.
an enchanted one. If you want to
Okay.
start to enchant something else, you could use a common one or an enchanted one. It's up to you. You cannot stack the same enchantment
Mhm.
or the same type of enchantment. So you cannot have keen and very keen, or sorry, superior keen. But you can have one or the other.
So if I did ancient close fitting and I'm wearing my leather armor and it's +3 to that, does it mean whatever I roll for the for the soak or whatever it is, it adds +3 to the dice roll, right?
For protection roll, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was curious about.
So, in your time resting, then, well, actually, first of all, I'll jump back to David for a second. During your 4 days of rest, a bird appears, and maybe it just seems to follow you around, and the more you focus on it and the more that you are aware of it, the more you begin to realize you can understand it. Which might surprise you, because to your knowledge, only people of the bloodline of Bard can understand birds. So that might be surprising to you, or maybe you expected it, but yeah, so you've just kind of developed this ability. Max, during your period of rest, one of Gilrain's aides comes to you and asks you to come speak to her.
Okay.
And she says, "Pardon me, was it Sargon?
Yeah.
Master Sargon, I don't mean to offend, because obviously the leathers that you're wearing are fine and of elven make and quite serviceable, but in interest of supporting you and your group, there has recently been recovered an extremely finely made suit of Numenorian leather armor that I would be willing to gift you if you would accept it."
I would accept it. He kind of like, gives a respectful bow.
So yeah, she gives you a suit, and I'll add it later, but yeah, a suit of Numenorian ancient close-fitted armor.
Nice.
Oh,
Close fit-
technically it says it's supposed to be elven or dwarven, but I say, bah! Numenorians can make leather too.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like a Numenorian that had an elven teacher. I mean, that could have been something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe. So it's in an elven style, right? So, and which made her think of you. So she gifts that to you.
Am I right in thinking that
And
the good
we'll
fitting
figure that
gives a
out later.
-2 on load or something?
No, that's cunning make.
That's
Close
cunning make.
fitting improves the result of a protection roll.
Oh,
So it
nice.
makes it stronger against piercing hits.
Very nice.
+3 is good. So I'm sitting there. I'm
And
like,
you've spent all of your points that you're going to.
yeah, I'm saving my skill
Indeed.
points. Yeah, I'm saving my skill points for later.
Okay. Oliver, so you spent some skill points.
I spent 2 adventure points to get my wisdom up, got a new virtue of mastery,
Okay.
and then spent 8 adventure points on getting skill up 1. I've got 2 left. And with 12 skill points, I just put them straight into battle.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's you done. So mastery, you just over the past several weeks, you've kind of gotten used to these abilities, and you feel much more confident in your ability with those skills again. So that's an easy one for that common virtue. Good deal. Marshall.
Yeah.
So if we're doing the fellowship undertaking to essentially trade in, obviously there's more pomp and circumstance than that. But to
Right.
trade in the spear, Narnath, it's discovered is its name, Araf's Bane. That spear has 2 qualities on it. No, I'm sorry. Is Bane count as a quality? I don't think it does, actually.
Yeah, it's a
Bane is an enchantment. It's
Yep.
special Bane.
Oh, is it? Okay, so
Yeah,
it
it's
has
an
2.
enchantment.
It has 2 enchantments.
Nice.
Wow, okay.
So, do you want to essentially focus all of that on your sword, and because that'll
Yeah.
max out your sword?
Yeah, he'd definitely do that with his sword.
So what's
Nice.
already on the sword?
Nothing. It's actually just
Oh, I thought the sword was enchanted. So
no.
okay,
not yet.
in that case, you now discover its enchantment, right? And you spend
Right.
some time, and as we said, Gilrain sits with you. So you get 2 enchanted rewards on the sword. Then,
Nice.
what do you want?
Don't know how to put them onto the sword, but
I mean, I'll take care of that, but like,
okay.
Cleaving. That's nasty. That's nasty.
Let's see. What does a rune scored weapon do?
all right, hang on.
For
One second.
rulebook
Ancient
165.
close.
When make an attack roll using a weapon possessing this quality, you ignore the effects of being miserable or weary.
Oh.
That is quite
Uh,
good.
no.
That's
quite good.
Yeah.
It's also limited because you're not always going to be miserable or
Yeah.
weary, hopefully. But
Well, I mean, it's pretty nice.
Handy when you
But-
are, though.
that's only for dwarven weapons.
Oh, okay,
and your
gotcha.
weapon is of Numenorian make. So for that, I am going to make sure you stick to.
Okay.
There's
So probably
cleaving.
couldn't go superior keen.
You could go
Um,
Superior Keen.
I think
or-
cleaving's
well-
good.
Fell. Superior fell is Numenoran.
Superior Grievous is Numenorian, so is Superior Fell, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
Grievous
also
is-
Cleaving, Foe Slaying, Hammering.
Yeah.
I don't think that works.
There's
Oh,
cleaving's
no.
good.
I think.
No, Hammering
Honestly, I
actually
think-
could work.
Oh yeah.
Hollow Seal.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the-
Oh, that's for bows.
Everybody
Never mind.
having to quote it for me all the time.
Okay, so let me go through. So Superior Fell gives you it improves the injury rating of the weapon by 2,
Wow.
or a bonus equal to your valor, whichever is higher. So right now it'd be 2.
Right.
Superior Grievous adds 2 to damage.
Okay.
If the weapon is of Numenorian, you add 1 to damage, or a bonus equal to the bear's valor if used against a Bane creature.
Is it a particular
Um,
creature that is a bane against,
Yeah.
or is it any creature?
You would-
that
you
is
would-
bane?
You would have to identify a Bane creature, so
Specify it.
like orcs or something like
Yeah.
that.
Humans.
Then there is nope, that's armor. There is cleaving. When you
Cleaving's
kill a
good.
foe with a weapon blessed with this quality, you can immediately attack a second adversary engaged with you. You can't
say
move
that's a
to
good
another
one.
engagement.
Right.
You already have to be doubled up on.
Yeah. So that's very particular.
It is very particular. Foe slaying. When you score a piercing blow on a Bane creature, the protection roll of the target is ill-favored.
So I'm thinking maybe something that increases the ability for a piercing blow. And
So
then
Foe
go
slaying would do
post-playing.
that, and Superior Grievous... No, I'm sorry, Superior Fell would do that.
Yeah. So maybe superior fell and foe slaying.
Oh, Hammering's actually kind of funny, though.
Oh.
Any creature hit by this weapon and suffering an endurance loss equal to or superior to twice its attribute level. So it only works against, kind of lower level things. But
Mhm.
if it does happen, they are additionally knocked back and must spend their next main action to stand up. So they're out for the
I mean,
next
it is
round of
hammering.
You're
combat.
proning them as well as hitting them. That's awesome.
Maybe
Yeah.
foe slaying and hammering.
If
I-
you really want to go with injury, though, I'd say foe slaying and superior
Superior
fell.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Go full
So-
swing, Superior Fell.
What's the creature then? What's it bane against?
Its name?
I want to
Orcs?
think. I want to think trolls.
Trolls? Okay.
I think that might be what killed his father, and that's how he ended up in Ladros for that short time.
Okay, fair enough. What is your sword's name again? How do you spell it?
Aernaur.
And so we are going superior. Oh, I'll put troll as the bane.
Get Elvin, he starts glowing. Trolls about.
Actually, bane weapons do that if you want it to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It glows when trolls are close.
So does that mean
Yep.
Sting?
I definitely think he'd do
Sting
that.
was an Orc's bane then, pretty much.
It was.
Yeah,
it was
yep,
orc bane.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, dude, for you, Oliver, there's one called Gleam of Terror. When you hit a target using this weapon of this quality, you also inflict 2 points of loss of hate or resolve.
Yeah,
Ooh,
or-
that's pretty big,
That's
actually.
good.
Yeah,
for the,
dude.
That's good for the boss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay. Now, as far as your skill points and adventure points, are you good on those, Marshall? Did you have questions?
Yeah, I did my adventure points. I did a point in wisdom.
Wisdom, and then you took the ranger
Endurance
perk
of the
for
ranger.
leather armor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got cunning make that I need to put onto my leather corselet. As far as skill points go, I bought a point in riddle, and I upped my awe to 2 points.
Okay.
And I don't know if I could do this or not because I increased my wisdom, but I increased my bow by +1. So I increased
Yeah,
it
you
from
can do
1
that
to,
too.
from 1 to 2.
Yeah. So again, you can increase every individual skill once if you have the
Okay.
points. You can increase every individual combat proficiency once, and you can
Okay.
increase either wisdom or valor.
Okay. So yeah, that'll make him a little bit better archer.
Okay, so last but not least, Therator, Orlan.
Yeah,
you
for
good?
my adventure, I'm good. Yeah, for my adventure points, I used
Be right back.
8 points to increase my bow ranking from 1 to 2,
Okay.
and I increased my valor by 1. So I have 2 adventure points left for that. And for my skill points, I used all of it to increase my enhancement from 1 to 2, and then scan to 1.
Okay. So, with your valor increase, did we talk about the reward you want to take?
Yeah, because I was asking if I could add another one to my existing sword that has the fell already.
You can. It has to be an enchanted one, but yes, you can.
Okay.
And at that point, you're also going to need to name your sword because now it's a famous weapon.
A famous
Nice,
weapon,
brother.
okay. So I think I will name my sword Estel, which is hope in Elvish.
How do you spell that?
Estel.
Oh, Estelle. Yeah,
Estelle.
that's right. Duh. And
And
the
I think I will
weapon,
choose.
the bonus, rather.
Yeah, so is it enchanted reward I'm looking for, is it? Or is it just the normal I'm looking at from the reward list?
Enchanted. So page
Okay.
165. What's already
Yeah,
on it?
Fell.
Okay, so it's already fell, so you can't do superior fell.
Yeah, so I'm thinking superior keen because if it gives me more chance to get a piercing blow, I can add my fell upon it.
I mean, there is a dwarf there, so
Superior keen, elvish, yep. Piercing blow
Yep.
on an 8+ as opposed to a 9+.
It's a dwarven or
No,
elven?
if it's elven. So if the weapon is elven craftsmanship, it scores piercing blow on a 9+, or on a result of 10 minus the value of the bear's valor, which is 2, so it would be 8+ again. But as you're
against a bane creature.
against a bane creature, right? So you got to pick a bane for it then.
Yeah, I just orc.
Yeah,
Orc,
good
right?
choice.
Yeah.
Superior keen.
Yeah.
Orc.
What's nice is that there's a flame of hope. So if you ever get a dwarf with did outline, I'm like, it's a dwarf
Yeah.
it's like his gonna be sitting there. He'd be a flame of hope axe sitting there, like, yeah.
It's funny that if you look at it, almost all the dwarf rewards, none of them require banes because dwarves just want to kill everything. Dwarves are just like, no, it's just my weapons kill everything.
I don't discriminate.
But
I'm no racist.
well, the benefit of a bane weapon, it unless you're paying close attention, it doesn't seem that great because a dwarven keen is 8+. A elven keen is 1+, or
9+.
it's 9+, or the value of your valor. So the higher your valor goes as an elf, the better it gets. When his valor hits 6, that means that he's gonna pierce on a 4+.
Wow.
Like that's insane, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
On a 4+,
But dwarves are just
out of
8+
10.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4+ out of 10. Well,
Wow.
it's actually so. It would be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that can't be right. It's 5+.
5+, yeah.
It's 10
5,
minus.
6,
So it
7,
would be
8,
5,
9.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then a Gandalf rune. So like, out of 12, 7 out of 12, you're gonna pierce.
Wow.
Which is crazy, but
Yeah.
that's also a very experienced character
That's- yeah,
whose
yeah,
valor has gone up to
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it costs a lot.
Because
to
that's
get
the
up
other
there.
thing. I think if I'm reading the rules correctly, I think you also have to keep. Maybe not. I'll double check, but I think you have to keep valor and wisdom in line.
Like one apart.
So like next fellowship phase, you'll have to increase the other one if you want to increase one, rather than continue on one path.
You kind of have a 1 valor.
That might not be true. I'll verify, but
It
maybe,
wasn't
but I'll
first
verify.
edition, but yeah.
Yeah. So at any rate, I think we're all done with that aspect of the fellowship phase. We did use our undertaking to allow Erithil to present the spear and learn more about his sword. So that's taken care of. Now let's talk about that spiritual recovery. During each fellowship phase, all player heroes automatically recover a number of hope points equal to their heart score. So whatever your heart score is, you get that many hope.
Which is the small number. right?
Unless you have something that changes that, like I think Erithil
Yep, Erithil does.
is kind of out of the loop on that one.
Yep.
I think
He
you only
gets
regain
half.
hope during Yule. Oh, it's half. Okay.
Yep, he gets half.
Then, if the adventuring phase resulted in what can be considered a positive outcome in the fight against the encroaching shadow, yeah, I think so.
You ran away.
Ran off
Feel between its legs.
a hound of Angmar. All members of the company get to recover a number of shadow points.
Hey.
If that's the case, the lore master must then weigh the actions of the company against the broader context of the Twilight of the Third Age, and allow them to remove from 1 to 3 shadow points based on how noteworthy their accomplishments are deemed to be. Well, you didn't kill it.
And is that everything to date for each fellowship phase, or only since the last fellowship phase?
Since the last fellowship phase.
Which is everything to date in this case.
In this case, yes. So I'm going to say that you only ran off Garaf, but Garaf is an ancient foe. So I'll give you 2 shadow point recovery.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I had a question. Fatigue. When do we get that back?
So you decided to rest for 4 days. So fatigue, if you're resting in a safe place, fatigue is reduced by 1 for each prolonged rest. So
my 2 goes
that
down to
covers
0.
everybody. Yeah, fatigue should go down to 0 for everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
I need to double check. We gain hope
Also, I don't know-
equal to the heart score.
You might
Equal to your heart score, unless you have a
Okay.
cultural thing that
you might want to know
changes
this
that.
for automation purposes, Brian. But see, when you're changing our fatigue on that team sheet that we have, doesn't update our
Yeah.
personal fatigue.
Yeah, it's not supposed to.
All right. Okay. Cool. And
Because again, we have to determine how much of that fatigue you actually suffer at the end of the journey.
right. What did we say for hope? How much hope we're getting back?
Whatever
Equal
your
to your
heart,
heart
score
Heart
is.
score. So that's ideal because my heart score is 3 and I'm down 3.
So there you go.
Back to full everything, guys.
Yeah.
Apart from
Yeah,
foreshadow.
Same.
I'm close. I'm
Yeah,
close.
Shadow's all you.
So
Foreshadow.
that's a
Okay.
fellowship phase. We'll probably get faster with fellowship phases down
Oh,
the
yeah.
road. But yeah, so you
Yeah.
guys rest at the encampments of Gilrain for 4 days. So I'll progress the clock.
As a matter of interest, do we also have 5 fellowship points for the session?
Yes.
You do, yes.
Right. So, depending on what happens, we can use those further to recover hope if people use hope going forward.
Has everyone got max
Correct.
hope now after that rest?
I got
No,
my.
no,
I'm
sorry,
down
God's
two.
not.
I'm down two.
Sargon's down 2 still.
You're still
Yeah.
down 2. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm-
if we get to
I'm
the
down
end of the
2.
session and we've not used those fellowship points, you just use them, eh?
Yeah.
Well, again, you have to use them during a rest.
Oh, might be a good idea to
You
just
might as well
use
use it now.
one now at least, Max.
So
I think use at least
So-
one now.
what you want to
That's
do
fine.
then, if you want to use one, is you want to activate a rest on your character sheet
Yep.
and select how many you want to recover.
Okay. Prolonged. One.
Okay.
Sweet.
So, after 4 days, Gilrain actually seeks out each of you at some point to invite you to a interaction with her primarily. She doesn't call it a council. She just wants to meet with you again. Also, I believe, Oliver, you said something about wanting to seek out this dwarf
Yep.
that you've seen around the encampment.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And there are potentially a couple of other NPCs you might have seen if you take an interest. I've dropped some hints, but it's up to you. I'm not going to make you talk to anybody. But we'll take a short break,
Hey.
and then we'll get back to our meeting with Gilrain. This session might not go that much longer because it is late for some of us.
Right.
But a short break to use the restroom, and then we'll see how much further we go.
Cool.
Okay,
Alright.
okay.
We'll see
Sounds
you all
good.
in about 5 minutes, Twitch. We won't be long.
All right. Yay.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting.
All right. So, Gilrain wants to talk to you all, and kind of sets up a time for you all to come in. But is there anything else you want to do? Anybody else you want to talk to?
Yeah.
Well, if I can just talk to any Dunedain who's willing to talk to me about what they can tell us about the monsters, the creatures of evil that they meet, what travelers from the east should do to meet them if they wish to speak with them, that sort of thing. So it's just general political and diplomatic discussions,
Sure.
which we don't need to go into in detail.
Yeah, I mean, over the 4 days or so, you're able to chat up some of the rangers, and I mean, they're not all withdrawn, dour folks, right? They're often depicted that way, but they're just people, and some of them are more than happy to chit chat with you for hours about particular beings that they've dealt with, whether it be troll or orc. Sometimes you even get a couple that speak to you about barrow wights and things like that. Things that aside from a troll and an orc at this point, things that you probably haven't seen.
Correct. And over the far side of the mountains,
Yeah,
I don't think barrow whites is something we've ever come across.
yeah, they would be rare there, I would think. So yeah, they're very willing to chat, and over those few days, you get you start to see more smiles when you're present, and it seems like people seem to be more comfortable with you and more willing to engage with you. So it seems like they are, your diplomatic interactions are going well. Again,
Good.
like Gil Rain said, you're kind of looking around the camp and you don't know exactly how these diplomatic relations would be useful between your folk and the folk of the Dunedain, but I don't know, you feel like maybe there's something that you're just not seeing that has value more than just their tents and their arms. Difficult to say.
Well, this may be where this camp is, but they range over the whole area. Now, what we can provide them, Derek's folk are wonderful at making weapons, but they're not that good at distributing them. So,
Well, you also notice. Sorry, go ahead.
Merchants from Dale may well act as salesmen for dwarven-made weapons, for example. So there's all sorts of things that we might be able to bring over the mountains that might be benefit. But the key thing is to open relations and make sure people know that Dale is interested in making friends with people and making alliances.
I will say one thing that stands out to you is obviously you've been traveling with a ranger and you know that he and the elf Sargon, they don't use mounts. There are no horses in this encampment. And if there's one thing that Dale has, it's liveries.
Mm-hmm.
Horses.
In which case, that might be something that may aid the rangers in their tasks. Certainly, I shall consider that. And but I mean, the other question is whether or not how easy it would be for horses to be raised and subsist here. I haven't had any problems keeping mine fed, have I?
No, not at all.
It may just be that creatures over here, you cannot have horse herds riding loose with so many orcs and so on around. So
yeah,
we shall see.
But you haven't had trouble, right? So
yes,
and I mean the people at Bree use horses, so mainly draft horses, but they do use horses.
Orcs are not known to use horses to ride them. They would just eat a horse, wouldn't they?
Who? Orcs?
Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, they'd probably slaughter it and eat it. An orc is more likely to ride a warg than a horse.
I mean, if they want to get loads carried, they'll probably draft in some goblins or something to carry them.
Yeah.
Or some captives.
They make some of their lessers do it. Yeah, or captives.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So you do that. Anybody else doing anything over the 4 days aside from all the?
Yeah, I'm going to see the. I want to see the door. I want to meet the dwarven smith.
Okay. So, when? Day 1?
Yeah.
Day 4?
Yeah, no, I think I'd be quite keen to meet him, and would go on day 1.
Because it would change how he responds to you.
Right.
So, when do you approach him? While he's working? While he's drinking?
Or drinking.
While he's working.
Okay. So that would actually probably be closer to day 2.
Okay.
Because by the time you are done with your first meeting with Gilrain, everybody would have been in the commissary and having meals and stuff like that. So yeah, once you hear the forge tinking the next morning, you go up to him, and he sees he's set up a forge in the open. It's stone built, and you can tell that some of the stones are from the ruins of Annuminas. It's a cold forge, right? Which basically means that it's just fire and a little bit of charcoal or coke, but it's not like a blast furnace like you're used to in Erebor. He's kind of put together what he can do in the wilderness. And as you approach, you can tell that like this is what he does. Like the smell of iron and coke is not just coming from the forge, it's coming off of him. It has settled into his skin and in his hair, and he smells like fire.
I love it.
And yeah, he looks up and keeps hammering. He's like, "Hi, what do you want?"
I don't want nothing, my friend. Don't let me disturb your work. I just came to watch a dwarven smith. It's been a while since I've seen a real craftsman. Just wanted to make myself known and introduce myself and perhaps make a friend.
And you couldn't come over for a drink last night?
Oh, I wanted to make myself known to the lady first, and we had some business to take care of course. But of course, the first round of drinks will be on me tonight. Now that we've met, what's your
when
name,
you say
my
the
friend?
Lady, he softens. He's like, "Oh, you spoke to Mistress Gilrain?"
We were on a quest for Mistress Gilrain, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll take great pleasure in telling him about murdering some orcs and kicking some wolves' asses, and the troll. I'll tell him about all of that.
And he listens, and he seems interested, but he's way more interested every time you mention her.
Okay.
So, that aside, yeah, he says, yeah, Dahlgren, son of Dolgrim, from the Iron Hills.
Derek, son of
You're
Derek. Durin's folk.
Erebor?
Yes.
It's good that you guys got that back. That dragon was a problem.
It was. It's good to have our ancient home back. It's, it means
Were
everything
you one of
to
the
us.
Were you one of the 13 that cleared it out?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, too bad.
No.
They must have great stories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hopefully one day I'm going to have some stories just as impressive as those, but no, I don't have the experience that those
a Hound of
heroes do.
Sauron. That's no small feat. You've already got one.
I didn't kill it though, unfortunately. It got away. The bastard. The coward. Escaped.
That just means more fun chasing it down.
Exactly, my friend. You know. Aye. This is why I miss having a dwarf in my group. These humans and these elves, they're good company. A couple of them have got great singing voices, but they just don't have the same bloodlust for killing evil things that I do. I mean,
Well,
they're all good and they all hate evil.
I think
but...
you'll find in a pinch they all stand against the darkness.
Oh, they all do. And not just in a pinch. They proactively stand against the darkness. They are good folk, my companion. Don't get me wrong. Good folk. They are out there to defeat evil, but I don't think they have the same passion for it that I do, you know? It's racially motivated.
Yeah. You all, you say you're working for the lady. Are you open to other work?
So, I believe that the lady is going to have something else for us. I am open to other work, especially for a dwarf. But obviously, anything that the lady wants us to do will take precedence. So if we do take on any other jobs, it will be to fit around what we're doing with the lady. What did you have in mind?
Well, if I'm honest, I'm not sure what's all involved. But I don't think it's not a pressing matter. It's something that if you have time to look into would be potentially. He looks around. Lucrative.
I'm listening.
A dwarf.
Well, my friend, come over here, and he leads you to a table that he's got set up on the side, and he pushes some things aside, you know, hammers and tongs and things like that, just to make a space. And he pulls out a map.
Ooh.
And he rolls it out, and this is obviously it's not going to be exactly like the one that we're looking at here, but if we'll go over to the map of Ariador here. This is a good dwarven map, you understand. Like, everything is clearly laid out. His map actually does have hexes on it.
Nice.
And it the thing that's odd about a dwarven map that I don't know that everybody is aware of is that for some reason, east is always north.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're looking at the map, but, like, the map that you're looking at on screen right now, you have to tilt it
Tilt it 90 degrees.
to the left so that it's like that, because that's how dwarves make maps for some reason.
Okay.
East is always
I'm used.
east is always on top.
I'm used to it in Bushido, David.
That is always obvious because dwarves don't really get on with elves, and if west is down, that's the way the elves go, and they fall off the bottom.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I've never thought about that.
That's the way I'd explain it.
That's some dwarven logic. That is, I love it.
I have never thought about that. So he rolls out this map, and it's of the entire region, right? It is, but it's detailed. It's detailed enough that you can tell what he's pointing at.
I think another difference with dwarven
points...
maps, if you don't mind, is that the lines are much thicker on the dwarven map. Bold will hold.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bold will hold.
Yeah. Well, the mountains, they're not like, it's not artistic. They are triangles, and like it's blocky and precise and
functional.
Yeah. So at any rate, he says, "Hey, so this is a bit of a trip, but I've heard of a mine that was abandoned a long time ago. And I have sources that has discovered where it might be pretty precisely.
Ooh.
Now, I'm in the area with the possibility of maybe putting together some folk. I've been thinking of heading over to the Blue Mountains here to try to put together a group to go up and possibly open up the mine again and start a colony. I have no indication that the mine was played out. It could still have resources inside. But the problem is, could and might aren't good enough for me to go to the dwarves of the Blue Mountains and say, hey, let's head up there and start a colony.
Yeah, you need to know what's in there first.
I do. And he says this is, if it is dangerous, I can't go by myself. And I'll be honest with you, my friend, I'm not much of a fighter. I'm a craftsman. I mean, I will put axe to skull to protect my home, but I'm not one to go out on the road and try to scout an unknown location.
That's all right.
You know what I mean?
That's all right, for I am. That's exactly what I do, and my companions. This sounds like something even my companions might be interested in. I'm certainly interested, absolutely. I would love to hear about another dwarven mine in operation, and to have a hand in making that happen, that's an amazing thing. I would love to be a part of that. Let me ask my colleagues.
He says, before you do, and he points out where it is, all the way up here.
Where?
Oh boy.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
No. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's quite a trek.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And he says, if you're willing to take the journey, you could, and I could give you could use my name and at least get fair welcome, and well, you yourself, I'm sure, would receive fair welcome in the halls of the dwarves here.
I would imagine so. Our diplomatic relations with the clans have been good for several generations.
That at least would give you a midway point to stop and rest. You wouldn't have to make the journey direct. But, like I said, it's no rush. My sources say the mine has been abandoned for a long time. If it's something you take an interest in and would like to scout out for me, any information you can bring back could be helpful.
Very interested, my friend. Very interested. Let me see what the boys say.
And of course, if the mine is found to be useful, I could cut you in on the profits.
Sounds good, my friend. That sounds very good. Can't beat a passive income, especially when you're out adventuring.
Aside from that, I will be here for the foreseeable future. I have, in order to make ends meet, I've taken to working for these good folk here, repairing their weapons and tools. As you can tell, I'm sure you've seen the quality of my work as you've wandered around the camp,
Beautiful
even
work.
in the past day or so. And I know that they appreciate it as well.
Of course they do. That's why they have a dwarf smith. That's why this place is, it's all men and one dwarf. Because you want a dwarf for the smith.
Oh.
I will see you again tonight.
So-
I'm going to buy you some drinks tonight, my friend.
I look forward to it.
And me.
And talk to your friends.
I will. Thank you. And good work.
Okay.
Keep up the good work, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Looking good.
Anybody else want to speak to
I-
anyone?
Is there impossible I could like just like look around and search the ruins? Just
What are you searching for?
I don't know. It's just he's particular. He's not a greedy dwarf, but
Oh, no, don't be
he-
racist.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
a greedy elf.
he likes to find like probably like he found that little bauble like the
Sure.
like the little pin there.
Oh,
He's
shit.
finding something like that. Yeah, just maybe
So-
something like unique stuff.
Curiosity.
You would know, I will say this, you would know well enough that if you have the intention of rooting around in the ruins of Annuminas, you should probably ask for permission. I'm not saying that anyone's necessarily going to say no, but I am also saying, and this is a new phrase that I've learned from a fellow GM in my in-person game, if you would like to do that, you have to get the rest of the party to agree to go with you, and that area is currently loading. So we won't do it today.
Excellent. I
Oh
like
no,
that.
that's fine. No, it's just something that he would like to do because
Okay.
with what Oliver is going to talk to us to be something that he would probably like to look around
So-
while we're here.
You'll want to say something to Gilrain then. You would know
Yes.
enough that you want to say something to Gilrain when you have a meeting with her.
Oh, yeah,
which
it's
is
a-
which we are doing today. So
Yeah, so that's why he was
coming up.
gonna like. That's why I was gonna ask about that.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think
yeah.
other than meeting with Arvalag and just catching up and seeing, catching up on news and stuff from this area, that'd probably be all that Earthel would want to do.
Yeah, I mean, Arvalag
tells
tells you about some of the difficulties they've had repelling some of the war parties that have come in. The ruins are still dangerous, but occasionally they'll go down in a group and try to clear out this building or that building or this basement or that basement. He does complain that Reval, who you know is the quartermaster, has been having some issues keeping everything together and maintaining enough. That's part of the reason why they're employing the dwarf to help maintain arms and create new ammunition and things like that. And he says, the dwarven work is fantastic, obviously, but we've all had to get used to it. It's different weight, different feel than what we're used to. Amazing, but different.
Right, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
And then Theodore, did you want to do anything before
Yeah.
you go speak to? Yeah.
Yeah, during the 4 days in Annuminas, I'm maybe talking to some rangers to see if they spotted an elf around that area that marked on the map there, or maybe a wraith, or maybe an elf coming by, if they saw a message, for example.
So you ask around, and it takes, depending upon how much, like if you're literally just going ranger to ranger, you seen an elf? You seen an elf? But if you're just
Yeah,
taking your time and like
Yeah, I'm taking
just
my
having
time, yeah.
conversation,
Yeah,
it does take a few days, because this is not a small encampment. There are a few hundred Dunedain here, as well as the dwarf and so forth. But eventually you do find someone who says, yes, there was one, aside from yourself, of course, Master Elf. There was a regular visitor to Elduin, our healer.
Oh, is he here now?
Elduin? Yeah, that's her tent right over there.
Very well. Thank you. So I go to the tent to speak to the healer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't knock on a tent, so do you call out or you just walk in?
No, I'm polite. I know how to be polite as an elf. So I stand outside the tent and says, what was her name again?
Elduin.
Or Elduin. Elduin? Master Elduin.
Yes? You hear a
May I come?
soft voice from inside.
May I come in?
Of course. And
Yeah,
as
so
you
I go
enter,
in.
it's definitely the abode of someone who works with herbs and plants, and there's hanging drying racks and a small cook fire with a pot, a cauldron, if we're honest, sitting over it. You know, this is every bit the healer. She's fair, blonde hair, maybe even possibly of Gilrain's line, if not direct, maybe a cousin.
Okay.
You see a little bit of a similarity there, but she is clean. Her cheeks are ruddy. You think more from the heat of the cauldron than any kind of drink. And she appears to be very busy, taking what looks to be like a paste and applying it to some kind of bark and or wrapping that she then kind of wraps up in an additional bit of leather and puts it to the side, and there's kind of a stack of these on one side. Oh, Master Elf, how can I help you? Orlan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've been here
Yes.
before.
Oh. Yeah, I've been here a few times before. It's been a while. I just heard from one of the rangers that you've been speaking to an elf recently, or in the recent times.
Oh, well, not recently, but yes, my friend Lady Naylan of Linden, she was visiting quite often for a while. I've not seen her from many months.
Lady Nathan, you say?
Yes.
Do you know why she's very often around the plains west of Hornost? Or at least that's what I understood from the rangers. She has been there.
Oh, well, that's strange because I don't know that I've mentioned it to anyone, but yes, in fact, the last time I saw her, she mentioned something about looking for something out there. I mean, you understand, Master Erlon, that Nayland is, well, I don't mean to be rude, but your kind can be quite old. And
yes,
she has alluded to the fact that she might have been at some of those very battles.
Oh, okay. So Lena has been okay. Oh, so she has experienced a battle, do you think? Or as she says over there, is she looking for any heirlooms or something she lost in the past?
Possibly. I mean, what else could she be looking for? She wouldn't be looking for survivors. I mean, that's a battlefield of millennia in age. It's barely even something I can comprehend.
Yeah.
And even my kind are quite long-lived, but not to the point of millennia.
Yes, of course. Yes, it's overgrown over there for the ages past, as you say. There will not be any corpses or items will be buried under by times of passage.
Possibly she's looking for an heirloom, then, I suppose?
All right, very well.
Or weapon.
Yeah, she might. If she wasn't in battle, she must have been a great warrior indeed. How often does she come back to Annuminas for supplies and such?
Oh well, she was here quite often, once every couple of weeks, up until about a month ago.
About a month ago, and you've never seen her ever since a month ago.
I've not. No, I have heard from some of the rangers that they think that they saw her in that area, but.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's capable. I'm sure she can look after herself. And...
Oh yes, of course. I was just curious as I noticed her tracks, or at least remains of her tracks, among the grass.
No, I'm
So-
surprised you noticed her tracks. Either she's lost a step or is...
Well, as a
I
captain
hope-
of
I hope
enlargers,
she's
I
not
need
injured.
to. No, of course not. There are no blood trails in the thing, so she'll be fine. I was just curious why a elven kin was in those areas. But now I may know more or have more insight to it, thanks to you. Thank you.
Well, of course.
But yeah,
So-
everything I was wondering about, lady. It'll do it.
Very
Thank you.
well. If you need anything medicinal, please don't be afraid to come back.
I will come back. Don't you worry. Thank you once again.
Of course. So, eventually, we get to the point where all of you go to visit Lady Gilrain. And the first thing that she offers to all of you is she would like to not employ you, again is not the right word, but she is offering to be your patron.
Oh.
I look at everybody. I'm like, okay.
Patrons are meaningful in the One Ring. They do a couple of different things. One, they're a good source of quests, as it were, obviously. But also, if you accept a patron, you can expect to be able to use the location, so Annuminas in this case, as a safe place regularly.
Okay.
And in addition to that, you can you basically get a benefit from having a patron. Different patrons have different benefits. Gilrain's benefit, because I mean there's no reason to hide it from you, is essentially that while you travel in what would essentially be her realm, which is the territory that was once the realm of Old Arnor, so kind of northern Eriador.
Okay.
All journey events are determined as if you were in a borderland, which is a good thing, because if you're in a dark land, journey events can be quite a bit more difficult. But if she's your patron, a dark land would be considered a borderland.
Okay.
So
Alright.
she wonders if she could be your guide and your counselor, and because she does have some things that she would like to look into herself. But it's up to you if you want to accept her.
I would be honoured to accept her as my patron personally, but
That's totally fine.
No,
depends on the
absolutely.
group.
Yeah, she's a great ally to the elves, so yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I will add her to your sheet.
Sweet.
Excellent. So
as
yes,
you
a
know-
question. Yeah, sorry, go on, Max. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just, as you said, this is the point, like, where we're talking to her. He kind of like, agrees with her. It's like, my lady, would it be possible maybe for, he looks at us, maybe look around the ruins? Because I've never seen such great craftsmanship, and he's just a curiosity just to look around.
Well, I mean, I'm not terribly concerned for you, but you understand the ruins are potentially a dangerous place.
That I've heard.
If you are intent on doing so, I don't suppose I can stop you. I would request that if you find anything of cultural importance, that you bring it to me.
Oh, of course.
But again, depending upon the time, it can be dangerous. The past few days, it's been relatively quiet here, according to my sentries, but that can change. We've run into all manner of trouble in the ruins, from invading orc to the occasional wraith, some memory brought up by these dark times.
And the orcs, are they coming from outside of the ruins here? Or are they coming from beneath?
Well, that's an interesting question, and it's one that I'm not currently able to answer. There are some who believe that there might be an underground passage that they've discovered.
Derek runs off in the direction.
So eager.
but I have no clear information. That is one of the things I would encourage you to. I would be appreciative if you would all be able to look into that for me.
Of course.
But again, it can be quite dangerous. I know I'm saying that to the ears of heroes, but it must be said.
Appreciate your word of warning, but I heard the wild elephants couldn't pull me away from the chance to kill some orcs, my lady.
There is another concern that I have.
Elephants. Sorry, elephants.
Well, a few to be certain.
Of course.
So, if, again, I'm not going to make you do anything, but if you were willing, in addition to looking into the possibility of an underground passage allowing the orcs to invade, my quartermaster has, well, they have an idea. I'm sure you all noticed as you approached the various barrows on the other side of the river.
Yes.
Erithil, as you well know, those are the tombs of our people.
Indeed.
Raval seems to believe that with times being what they are, it might be acceptable for us to use the tools of our forebears against the darkness. He thinks that it might be acceptable to enter the barrows of great warriors and recover weapons that we might use.
I can see where that could be advantageous, my lady. We would obviously do it with great respect. But you are right, times being what they are.
Well, as I said, I've not wanted to send any of my normal scouts to do so, but with you all here, I would not be opposed to you entering some of the tombs and seeing if you can find anything of use, but you might rile some spirits. And while those may be the spirits of our ancestors, spirits can sometimes be driven mad with time and with the dark forces that rise in this world.
Would it not then be best to deal with them now, milady? Because if as the wolf said, if its master is taking greater interest, those spirits may act on his behalf later, if not now.
You
deal with the threat before it grows.
Wise words, Master Ego. So that is another thing that I could use someone of your caliber to look into. The final thing, and this one would take some time, there is a group of our people that are encamped in an area known as the Angle.
Down here somewhere I was looking at it before. Yeah.
Yep. So it's way over here. Erithil has definitely heard of the Angle. She says, I've not heard from them from some time, and I'm concerned. It's not quite yet to the point that I feel we need to mobilize to their rescue, but I would like someone to go check on them, if at all possible.
Of course.
At least within the season.
If I may, my lady, when we encountered the Hillfolk, they were very much distrustful of myself and Orlan, and with good reason. Our people have been remiss in watching over all of the race of men in these parts. They are not, they should not be held to account for the actions of their forefathers. They suffered greatly because we did not watch over them.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Erithil. You won't find many of your cousins that do. They remember them as the enemy.
Sadly, the Hillfolk remember us the same way.
I'm aware.
If
I
I
can
may,
ask some of the more beneficent scouts to check on them with more regularity.
I would be grateful, my lady.
Very well, I shall do so.
If I am in these parts, I will do my part as well to look in on them from time to time.
Well, I've asked much of you. Is there anything that you would ask of me?
Only a blessing, my lady.
Your hospitality is been more than enough. And your patronage. Your patronage is a great honour to us.
Yeah,
You've
I
You've
The
done much for
hospitality
us.
you will continue to receive as often as you choose to return. More than that, who's to say?
A visit to the angle is probably the most urgent task on your list.
I think so.
my lady.
I think it is.
I think so too. We need to make sure the Rangers are well and alive.
Bit of a
in the
journey.
angle.
It's a bit of a journey.
What time of year is it, out of character?
I believe we're still in spring.
Yeah, early spring, yeah.
Yes, well, the sooner we travel there, milady, if help is needed, better it happens sooner in the year than later.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Very well. Well, I would encourage you to take appropriate rests along the way. Bree is on the path for the journey if you would like to do so. I do also know of a small, still surviving inn at the last bridge.
Okay.
Which might be a good place for you to use as a stop just before entering the angle. The angle can be a rough place, which is why I've had a contingent there for some time. They often go into the Trollshaws to hunt. In fact, Erithil, your father, was stationed at the angle for some time.
And it was in the Troll Falls that he fell.
Yes. Also, of course, you will be quite close. If you feel the need, you could head to Rivendell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's good, because you have a letter from me to deliver to Master Elrond, don't you?
Of course. And please, here, if you would. And she hands you a letter. It's less a letter and more like a thick sheaf of papers. It's not going to take up any
Okay.
encumbrance for you, but like, it is.
Okay. So
It's like
a
she's
little
sending him like 10 years of tax documents.
Okay.
But it's sealed, so who knows?
So
Right?
for you and everyone else, yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you, my lady. I will make sure Master Elrond gets it in safe hands.
So, I will leave you to your desires. I do appreciate the thought towards urgency, Master Egil, but again, I'm not quite at the emergency level of concern for the folk in the angle. As I said, within the season, if they could be checked upon, that would be.
So perhaps the two things you
Helpful.
would like us to do here we could do first then.
That could take a number of days, so you could, perhaps.
So should we head to the barrows tomorrow?
think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's the boroughs is within the city limits, right? Or is it outside?
Just outside.
No,
The
just
barrows
outside
are
on the
out-
other
just
side
over
of
the
the
river.
outside of the city.
It's just
Yeah.
over the river.
Okay.
It's less than a mile.
All right.
It's here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
here. There won't be any journey rolls. This is just let's go down to the barrows or let's go down to the city and have a look around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could, depending upon what happens, you could even do both in the same day. Really, I mean.
Yeah.
I
Kinda
will,
like
I,
the
I will ask the lady if there is one of her number who knows most about spirits that we could speak to before venturing into the barrows.
Give some kind of protection.
Well,
or
spirits
advice on
know.
dealing with them.
Spirits know, but we do have a historian.
In that case, may I speak with him?
Certainly. I will try to find him.
He's loading.
Yeah, it's loading.
No,
Loading the screen.
He
Process
is loading. He will be present next session, but she does literally have to find him. He
Fair enough.
spends most of his time in the ruins.
Ah.
We can, that'd be something we could do. We're looking around the ruins. Hey, there he is.
So, it sounds like next session you want to
The barrows.
find the historian,
Go to
check out the barrows,
and then possibly
maybe
the
check
ruins.
out the city too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay. That
And-
is what I will prepare for then.
Okay, and also
Awesome.
just when the lady is away and I've got the group without the lady, I'll tell him about the extra quest that we've got from the dwarf as well.
Oh yeah.
So we've got 4 new quests open now, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you
for
tell
her,
that,
one
I
for
was
him.
what I found about the battlefield we passed as well. That there's a elven lady that seeks something out. there.
Really?
Oh,
I mean, if we are heading till dealing with the angles at some point, we could always go past that way and go down
We
around
could.
Fornos.
Go down the greenway.
Kinda
we
You
could,
Right.
we
Yeah.
could, yeah,
Oh, dear.
yeah. We could always go for
I'm just
another look.
relieved that Derek is overlooking his self-imposed quest.
Well, I'm not overlooking it. It's in the back of my mind constantly. My self-imposed quest is
As long
to
as it stays there.
kill that wolf bitch.
No,
Do
it's
you
one
want
of the
me-
side quests that sits there. Eventually, I'll get to it. It's not going anywhere, but I want to
Do you
go
want
there.
me to put a Do you want me to put a marker out there for where you think she went?
No. It's not necessary. You don't need to stir the tide.
Okay. Okay.
I will kill
So,
that bitch. I
yeah.
will kill her.
In that case, we will deal with things in the city next time.
Yep.
And then potentially head out into the battlefield. I mean, where we can take care of things in the city is probably going to take 2 or 3 sessions.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
That's more likely. Especially if it's me. I want to serve. I'm playing my background thing.
but yeah, so we'll meet the historian next time, and we'll go from there.
Sweet.
The historian is not who you think.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Little preview. He's a little short.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is that referring to his temper?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
So, not a dwarf then. Dwarves are
Shorter
not...
than a dwarf.
well, he's not a dwarf because dwarves are not short.
Shorter than a
Oh,
dwarf,
that's right.
probably
Shortly
rounder.
after meeting Derek.
Dwarves are not short. Dwarves have an efficient
see?
center
You
of gravity.
There you
I
go.
see.
No. I call
So-
it no.
So elves and humans in Dunedain are just too big.
They're just
Obviously.
flimsy.
They're off center.
They're offset. The
Yeah.
center of gravity is way too high.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why they fall down in battle so easily, and I don't.
I mean,
We're
we
just
have had an
dire
elf fall down, so
No, we haven't. No, we have. We have.
Yeah, we had an elf fall down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Orlin went down. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Lost
Yeah,
on
You fell off a
ring
rope and you
finger.
went ding.
And
Okay.
I was wounded as well. So, yes.
Yeah, but you didn't go down.
No.
You were wounded, but you didn't drop. Yeah. Okay, so we've got things to do next time. I guess the only thing left for today then is to spread some experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Max,
So,
no one else
there
needs
you
it.
go.
You might as well use another fellowship point.
All right, good idea.
You did say you were going tomorrow, so you can sleep tonight. So I'll let you use the prolonged rest to spend a fellowship.
Well,
point,
we've just
sure.
spent 4 nights, so we could use it in one of them anyway, yeah?
Yeah, but you hadn't. We started role playing again.
Ah.
So,
Okay.
but you did just say you're going to go in the morning.
Yep.
So
What
we'll advance the
first-
clock and we'll start tomorrow morning, and Max will have his 1 point. So you can do the prolonged rest, Max. There you go.
Okay.
And what can fellowship points be used for if not restoring hope?
That was my next question, David.
I think that's just what they're used for.
I think they go to
I think that's all
waste.
it is.
Yeah, I think they go to waste if we don't use them.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to waste. They're just refreshed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have them again next session. We just
Yeah.
got no need for them.
Fellowship, vote it. No, raid, no. Oh, rating, yeah, 54. That's a really good question that I hadn't thought about.
Is there any chance? you
Okay,
can
so
raise the
during adventuring
fellowship
phase,
rating?
heroes can spend points of fellowship to recover points of hope when resting. Yeah, that's just what it's used for.
Okay.
To recover hope when resting.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
So you're back to full match, yeah?
yep,
Ev-
everybody's
everybody's
full
full?
everything.
Amazing.
Did we lose
Um,
fatigue after resting here in
Yeah.
the city? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah, yeah.
fatigue should be
You can
gone
lose
too.
full
Yeah,
fatigue.
okay,
zero.
okay. All right, 0. No.
I'm sad it didn't come up this session, but I will tell you that I am now tracking eye awareness because Garaf got away.
Because Graf got away, right?
Ooh.
Okay.
So
She's our arch enemy. Oh, I like her.
Garaf is going to tell somebody. And
Daddy.
then, so keep in mind,
I know, right?
every time you roll an eye outside of combat, eye awareness goes up.
Uh-oh.
Every time you now use, and this will apply to a couple of our characters, every time you use magic, depending
Ooh.
upon how it's used, eye awareness can go up.
Oh, okay.
And then if you do awful things, eye awareness can go up. But hopefully none of you are
Yeah,
going to be doing
no,
awful
no, I'm
things.
not
so.
I'm
Way to
not
do
planning on. I'm
You
gonna
are
do-
planning on it, Oliver?
I said I'm not planning on it. I'm gonna do awful
No.
things to. I'm gonna do awful things to that wolf bitch when I catch her, but
Right.
Yeah,
Awful
that's fine.
things to the enemy.
That's
That's,
different.
okay.
it's not an awful. That's a double negative.
Awful
If you
things
do-
to the enemy is fine.
If you do an awful thing to an evil, that's a double negative. You're doing a good thing.
Well, there is a limit. Like, keep in mind, Aragorn stopped. Shit, why did I just forget?
Oh, I mean, I'm
his
not going
name.
to sexually abuse its corpse. I'm just going to kill it.
You're not going to torture people.
No, I'm not going to
That's
torture
right.
anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not into
Yeah.
torture. No. I will kill evil. I'll cut its head off, but I won't torture it. I'm
Sure.
not into torture.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's it. That's all for today.
Awesome.
Amazing.
All right.
So good. Such good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
So
Yeah,
good. So
fantastic.
good.
Many thanks.
Loving being in
So,
Middle Earth.
Who's
So good.
doing next week's journal entry?
Max
That'll
is
be
done. Yeah.
That would be Max. Yep.
Yep, and I've been jotting notes down. I've been kind of writing stuff so I get an idea of what it is. So,
Excellent.
Excellent. Right,
Yeah.
let's
It won't be fancy as y'all, but it'll be something. It'll be
Sure, it'll be
something
great.
simple for him.
say goodnight then. Thank you
Yeah,
very much,
It's not a
Brian.
contest. It's just fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
No contest. Thank you, Brian, for another wonderful session. And thank you, Max, David, Therathor, and Marshall,
Of
for
course,
another
man.
wonderful
Anytime.
session. And to the viewers watching us, thank you very much for watching. We love you. We're RxOliver and the gang. Good night.
Until the next